Here is my short bio for those of you who don't know much about me. And this is from my website, darryldesouza.com. You will see it on the first page. And so I've had 17 years of experience in industrial engineering. After that, in between, somewhere you can see on this bio that I got very sick. And then uh, that's why I got into healthcare. And since 2005, I've been practicing and teaching integrative natural medicines and therapies. I've also done, as you can see, 9 national level mind body healing conferences in India. So, besides that, many of you know I'm an organic farmer and also, uh, you know, an environmentalist, earth keeper, and educator. So, though I have not got a teacher's degree, today you will understand what real education is. And today I will do it in a certain format, which will bring out the deeper truth that all of us know, but we are not able to grasp it because there's too much of bombardment of external sources of information. And even halfway through today, by 4 p.m., you will understand how much of the information in the mainstream is false. Even things that are taught in our university, colleges, and schools, yeah, very, very, untrue. So we will. So now, with all of this misinformation, how do we get to the real truth of many things? So I will uh, share a slide on that also. This has been in my integrative natural medicine and therapies. This is what I've been doing since 20 years. I started off in 2005 with all the therapies on the left hand side, and then received training on the rest of them from 2005 to 2010 on the right hand side. So now coming to today's program. So this statement here, like I put in the invite of my program, all knowledge is available and can be accessible in the here and now. So what is the meaning of this and how can it happen? But people nowadays know everything, or at least they think they do. And this is a good trait of human beings. You see, in whichever area of work or knowledge, whether it is home sciences or the kind of work that you do, or the area of your interest, all human beings are very genuine. We always work hard to get the best knowledge in the areas of our interest. And when we achieve that, we are happy. But like I said, 80%, I'm just saying that now, 80% of the information on the TV and the schools and colleges and all is fake, destructive, misleading, misrepresentation. So when some people come to you with the truth and you already are a person who thinks you know a lot, then you get offended. So now with COVID also, you have understood that so much of information bombardment, I think over the last, 4 years, some of you have read at least 1,000 documents and watched 2,000 videos. So everybody is quite, thinks they know quite a lot. So now, I think that, there's no point in telling people anything because they don't want to hear it. They are full up and they know a lot. So maybe it's better to ask people only about everything. So today I'm going to do a lot of asking, and it is a technique. Okay. So when I ask you different questions in, for example, in health, in food, you will see that many of you are giving the same replies. Now, from where, what am I trying to access here? So I'll just give you an example. Just outside my house here, Goa, there are so many stray dogs, just, about 15, 18 of them. And we see this every year. There are some places, some plots which are not taken care of people, like almost big trees growing like a jungle. It's fenced and also people can't go in. And we see that when dogs are having puppies. I've seen a couple of times where the mother, maybe she was sick or something after delivery, she died. And then the father, we know, is always roaming around somewhere. He's not there to take care of the puppies. And just few days, 1 week old puppies, they're hardly walking and all, they have no money. But then they go roaming around and everything. Some of them survive, some of them don't survive. And those who survive, for example, if they go and eat some, because they are stray dogs, they will go and eat anything on the road. And if one of those dogs gets infected, a small puppy, then you'll see it vomiting. Uh, then after vomiting, you'll see that it's not eating any food. It is sitting quietly at some place, not doing much activity, trying to get its energy back. And then after a couple of hours, you'll see that puppy going around near some bushes and grasses and eating some herbs. So by eating those herbs, whatever germs have got in the body, those herbs slowly start killing those germs in a few hours. And maybe by that evening or next morning, that puppy starts eating food again. So, what is actually happening with the puppy at that time? How is it selecting those herbs? And other days, why is it not eating herbs? So, this is a mechanism working in the puppy and our human brains and digestive system also, the connection. So, I'll just explain that in 2 minutes. So when the stomach is upset, there are signals sent from the gut to the brain, and the brain makes the tongue and the taste and the smell sensitive to certain herbs on that day. That's why the dog will go and seek it out, and oh, that's the only solution, and it will eat enough of those herbs, and then on the next day and all that, or 2 3 days after that, the need the brain and the gut, it gives up that sensitivity, and then the dog does not feel like eating lemongrass. They have been eating, cats and dogs here outside my house. On the third fourth day, they do not eat lemongrass and all. So by this example, what am I saying? I am just sharing that the puppy did not get any training from the mother. What is food, what is not food, what is health, what is herbs, what to do when. This knowledge is stored in the DNA of the puppy, and it is there in the DNA right from the time that breed of dog came on the planet. Okay. So today I'm going to ask you some questions on various topics, and you will be surprised the questions have to be framed in a proper way. So that's what I'm doing. And you'll be surprised that many of you will give the same answer to very complicated questions also. But these answers I'm telling you now, they will be answers from your DNA right from the time human beings were human beings on this planet. Now, whatever your research is saying that human beings, Roman civilization, Greek civilization, 6,000 years old, Indus civilization, India, 6,200, 400, whatever it is. Okay. So you will give those answers. So this is one method that I have been using to help people get true knowledge in the here and now. And it's from your own DNA, from your own experience. And when you get that knowledge, you can experiment with it. You can put the same way you can put other people in this process. Okay, so the most important thing I'm teaching today is this process that you use to get true knowledge. Then if everybody has true knowledge, then things can be done in a coordinated way. See, now we are talking of making eco villages and all of that. If you have three, four sets of people who are having different ideas of farming, different ideas of labor distribution, different ideas of, how the community should run, then they go to make an eco village and all of them have a lot of differences and that whole process breaks up. So people can do things commonly and with agreement when they have common knowledge. So as we go through today, you will see some examples of that. So I'm starting first with the health and food and all of that, which is a very good test. So now, with all this knowledge that people have, this is a statement everybody is quite smart at making. My body is unique, so its needs are unique. And its food also must be unique. Some people will say, my body tells me what food it likes. So, this is what we're going to do today. First, we're going to do an experiment with you and your body about food. And many of you who have seen my TEDx talk, which is a 15 minutes talk, this is that same experiment. So, when I ask questions, you don't need to reply because you know the answers. Also, some of you who have watched my New Earth Summit video, the Food Master class, you also know this. So, those of you who have already attended my workshop, read my book, or seen my TEDx video and all, please don't answer. Let the other people get a good experience. Okay. So, this experience today is going to be about this. So, let's say in today's Zoom meet itself, suppose I had called 1 dozen experts in nutrition who have PhDs and all of that. Yeah. The simple question is, what is food for human beings? So now you see on the right hand side, all those experts will give that model of food which they have been trained in, which they have used, they have got some success, and they teach others about it. So one is this paleo diet, then is keto diet, meat and fish diet, vegetarian, vegan, fruitarian, raw food diet. Omnivorous is like the bear, eats mostly fruits, yeah, and nuts, and sometimes it will small squirrel and all of that. It will eat that also. Uh, so if we give 1 hour time, you know that every one of these experts will present their side of the story, and they will not agree with the other people. If we give them 2 hours, more heated debates will start. If we give them 3 hours, some they may even start fighting and assaulting each other, saying that I have learned this from this expert, and this is, the 2000 years old science, and these cultures were doing it. So you all know that there will be no common answer. Now, then to these people, I show this next slide. Next slide is these. I'm going to compare what we are doing with certain species on the planet, which the categorization is sentient mammalian vertebrates. Okay, sentient means having the 5 senses of sight, smell, taste, touch, and hearing. Now, the next is mammalian, that is milk producers. Now, I just got this picture from the internet, so by mistake, those chickens are there. I should take them out. But keeping the chickens and the hens out, then you can see all rest are sentient mammalian vertebrates. And you know that there are probably 350, 400, or 500 such species on the planet. Even the giraffe, even the rat, squirrel, everything are sentient mammalian vertebrates. So these experiments I'm going to do, and I'm going to compare their choices to our choices. Now, why is that? The first reason is that I'm simply stating a fact that none of these animals are suffering from high BP, cholesterol, diabetes, and all of that. Okay. Uh, so only human beings are suffering from all these problems. Now, of course, you know that dogs are getting diabetes, but which are those dogs who are getting diabetes? The ones which we are getting into our house and we are feeding glucose biscuit or rice with chicken curry and other things. We do not understand very clearly. You'll see from today's experiment that complex carbohydrates like wheat and rice are not the food for dogs. So their blood sugar will go high and then they will get diabetes. Okay. So leaving out our this household pets, all animals in the wild, first reason is they are not having any high BP, cholesterol, diabetes. So must be they are doing something good about it. The second thing is about their food. Now, second thing is here. All of these species, they are dying of old age. And many people say, yeah, my uncle, he was 106 years, he ate this thing and that thing, and still he was fine. So, if you want to see, read this slide. This is actually what old age looks like for human beings. You can see about 1,000 wrinkles on the face of this Chinese herbalist. And you can also read that he lived for 256 years. He was married, he had 23 wives. And then he also had 200 children. So now you know how much energy it takes to have 23 wives and 200 children. I'm sure if he was a monk and not had the wives and children, maybe he would have lived to 300 plus. So, so this is the really what human life should be. We should all be living easily above 150, 200 years. But human beings are dying of accelerated aging. So, because of the various things we do with our food. Animals, on the other hand, they will, some of them die earlier. Like if a monkey falls from a tree and it breaks its elbow, then or its leg, then its capacity to get food and survive is reduced. So it will die sooner than the others. And for the person who's saying, my uncle or grandfather, he lived to be 106 and he died of natural causes, get the autopsy report of that person. You will find either it's weakened walls of the heart, or it is some tumor in the brain, or it is weakness in the lungs, or it is tumor in the intestine, or something wrong with the pancreas. Okay. So these are the two reasons I am we will compare to sentient mammalian vertebrates. Now, what I'm teaching today also, I call, if any of you have read my book, Become Healthy or Extinct, you have read that I'm teaching living sciences. So, what are living sciences? Living sciences are operating principles in nature that you can go anywhere and see. They are not what I call dead sciences in a closed laboratory that many times other people are not allowed the freedom to come and check and validate all of those experiments being done there. And most of the experiments that I've seen done in laboratories, the first starting step, the environment only, it does not mimic the living environment outside. So for me, all those results in the lab are going to, when the environment is wrong, the result will be wrong. So now with these experts who cannot, have a common answer on what is food for human beings, I show them this picture and I say, which is the most stupid animal over here that you think of that doesn't even have a brain? So everybody agrees on the poor donkey. Yeah, that's why we call people donkeys who we think have no sense. So we say, yeah, donkey, is such a stupid animal. So then the question to all these experts on nutrition is, does donkey know what food to eat on a daily basis without a single lecture on nutrition? And the answer is yes. It's a shock that the donkey, cat, rat, squirrel, every sentient mammalian vertebrate, and even the chicken, fowl, earthworm, lizard, everything, they also know what is their food and what is not their food without a single lecture. So then we conclude on two counts that first fact of life, nutrition is got nothing to do with the mind. Because all these smart mind people also could not have a clear answer. And second reason, we say donkey doesn't have a brain. So how can it think, right? So yeah, so the second thing is the animals also, uh, you know, they uh, know what their food is without any thinking. So what is that process? We will go into that process today. So I am now introducing you to the laws of nature or the laws of God. Uh, and the first question will come here. There are 7 questions. So, like I said, I'm not going to tell you anything. I'm going to ask you. So, from the first observation, living sciences, we saw that nutrition has got nothing to do with the mind. Now, the second is that Suppose I invite all of you to my home here in Goa and to do this experiment on food. And yeah, maybe you take bus, train, plane, whatever, and you reach by 5 p.m. at my home. And I ask everybody, okay, so are you hungry now? Most people will look at their watch or the watch on the wall and say, oh, yeah, it's 5 p.m., it's tea time, we are ready to have tea. Uh, but that was not my question. My question was not what is the time, what are your habits? My question was, are you hungry? So, what is hunger? Go and look at these dogs, cats outside, and other beings in the wild. Or look at National Geographic videos. All of us have seen them for so many years. What you see is that all animals who are eating food, they are just roaming around doing their thing. That is sometimes protecting their territory, doing the mating game, uh, taking care of their children, building their homes, defending themselves from predators. And in the process of all this, hunger happens. Where does hunger happen? It happens somewhere in the body, which, and for us human beings, it happens somewhere in the what we call the stomach or solar plexus area. And it is like a sensation, like a vacuum. And so that was my question to you, कि are you really hungry? क्या पेट में चूहे दौड़ रहे हैं क्या? So then when you understand that at 5 o'clock, are you really hungry? Most people will say, no, I'm not getting hunger pangs in my stomach. I'll let you know when I really get hungry. So whatever, 20, 30, 40 people, everybody is waiting till the hunger comes. So at that time, 5 p.m., I say that please do one thing. I give every one of you a long foolscap paper and a pen. And I say, please write down everything that you are eating, the dishes that you like, and that you would like to eat over here. Let's say we are going to do this experiment for a few days. So I said, put down everything that you like to eat. What do you think is your food? So people start writing down. And I add, you can even add some things that you have not eaten till today, but you think it should be good. So some people have not eaten caviar and they know it's very expensive. And if I'm giving it free to you, then you put it in the list. You say, okay, chalo, I'll try caviar also. So people are writing in the list their favorite things: chicken biryani, mutton biryani, palak paneer, malai kofta, then rajma, chole, then whatever, jeera rice. And then after the food, some people will eat fruits, so mango, custard apple. You think of this is Goa. Okay, so some Goa bananas are very good, so you're putting bananas also down. Then some people would like, because Goa is a seafood place. So some people will write down mackerel rava fried, or surmai curry. And in Goa you get pork also. So some people will write, who are non-vegetarians will write uh, pork ribs, roasted glazed pork ribs. So everybody has written down their. Some people are into millets, so they will make quinoa salad and all that. Then salad is also there, so you'll put on cucumber, tomato, carrots. Uh, then people have green juice, so they'll put on that. Everything is put down. So then time goes, and by about, let's say, 7 o'clock, all of you are ready and you're very hungry. So I say, okay, uh, now let us do that experiment about your food. So this is that second law what I talked about. All beings who eat food only eat food after they experience hunger. And because human beings eat food as per time on the clock, we overeat 4 meals a day. And when we overeat, then human beings are the only species on this planet who have to invent a new science called fasting. And then once we invent that science fasting, we make 100 different versions of it: intermittent fasting, fruit fasting, ekadashi, or 3 days autophagy. or 1 week fasting or dry fasting, right? There is no deliberate fasting in nature. That's a living science. Only when the dog eats some poisonous food, then it deliberately fasts. Others, all animals and birds and all that, they are just doing their thing in life. And when hunger happens, they eat that time. Now, lions and all will eat once they do a kill. The kill is very difficult to get, takes a lot of time and energy. So they will eat till the stomach is full, stuff themselves. Then you see after that, they are falling sleepy because it's overload to the stomach. And then the lion or tiger, they don't need to eat for the next 4 5 days. So now we will come to ourselves and that experiment. So I will just put on my video and I hope everybody is there. You can see my picture clearly in the main screen. If you can't, on the top right hand side where the view options are there, on your laptop or somewhere in your yeah screen of your mobile, you can select speaker view. And if you see some other name in the middle window now, like Sanjeev, I can see. Then what you do is you go to my window frame. There are three dots on the right side. Click it and then select pin. When you select pin, then you will get to see my entire screen. Okay. Yeah. So now everybody is there at my house, and I say, take the list of all the foods that you have written down, which you eat and you want to eat, and all the dishes. So I take all your lists and I say, okay, at 5 o'clock, I take this. I say, give me 2 hours, and I give it to my staff. All of them start, getting the ingredients and getting your food you ready. So then there's a big next room, there's a big dining hall and a long table. And 7 o'clock, when everybody is totally hungry, even if you have drunk a little water, still your hunger is there. So all of you come into that dining hall. And you see that it's a wonderful, very long table there, and there are, hundreds of foods over there. Now, you get ready and you go to eat your chicken biryani. Chalo, where's the chicken biryani? Where are the Alfonso mangoes of Goa? Where is the palak paneer? Where is the bangda rawa fry? Where are the pork ribs? Yeah. Where is the mutton biryani? So everybody goes to the table looking out for their stuff. But you see something different. And what you see is that a lot of things are there on the table. You don't see the chicken biryani, but you see two, three chickens. They are there roaming around in that uh, dining room. And then you see basmati rice at one place, dried basmati rice. Then you see bay leaves, dried bay leaves. You can see the turmeric powder, the pepper powder. You can see pieces of turmeric. You can see some cloves, pepper cloves. Then what else? You can see some sea salt. So you can see all the ingredients of the chicken biryani. So then you're wondering, should we cook or what is the thing now? We are so hungry and there's no time to cook. Then somebody is looking for the rava fried bangda. Then you see it on the extreme right. There's a big basin we have kept of sea water, and the bangdas are alive and they're swimming there. Then you see on the extreme left-hand side, you see 1 dozen mangoes. You see the special Mondo Chickei, what we call bananas, which are the sweetest bananas of Goa. Then you see raw carrots. You see beetroot. You see rajma, the beans of rajma, dal. Then you're seeing raw cauliflower, raw cabbage, raw palak leaves, celery sticks. Then what else? Palak paneer. Then you're seeing milk over there and the palak leaves, green. So everything you notice is uh, in its natural state. So that's when I tell everybody, now we are working under the third law of nature or law of God, right? Which is that God or nature has given not only to sentient mammalian vertebrates, but to any species on this planet who's eating food. God or nature has given food on a daily basis, and that food is in its natural state. The work of those species is just to find the food and eat the food and make no alterations whatsoever to their food from their own mind, doing all these things. And let me remind you, this is the main reason why they don't have high BP, cholesterol, diabetes, obesity, hormonal imbalance, and all of that. Now, when you learn and practice integrative natural medicine to a very deep degree, you will see these chronic illnesses, what I said, high BP, cholesterol, diabetes, and all. 70% of the contribution to them comes from food, and the rest 30% is coming from, yeah, toxic body products, toxic environment, stress levels, not enough movement, sedentary life, and other things. Well, some percentages for some people may change. For example, a person who's so stressed in life, they're just trying to find a place to jump off a terrace and commit suicide. So for that case, you know that 90% of their life and right now is depending on that decision in their mind. But I'm saying for average human beings who do not have so much stress, who have moderate movement and all that, you will realize this 70% of the health issues, chronic illnesses come from food. So that's why all of these species do not have any of these illness because they don't do any manipulation of their God nature provided food. So this is the living science you will see all across this planet. So then, yeah. So then, what are you going to choose now if you have to walk under that universal law? So you're hungry, and then we know most people will go towards the what can you eat raw? You can eat carrot, you can eat cucumber, tomato, and all. But if your favorite fruits are also there on the table at that time, somebody likes the banana, somebody likes custard apple, a chiku, lychees, mangoes, you know that your first choice will be going towards the fruits. Now, suppose I catch somebody and say, wait, 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 come here, come here. You had written for glazed pork ribs, right? You say yes, yes. I said, come here, now see this. Look at that glazed pork over there. So we have done one thing. There are some goats also there for people who have said mutton biryani. There's one goat tied there. There's one couch standing in the room for somebody who have asked for, any beef. But this pork, we have taken the trouble of killing one pig, and then we have cut out that rib section along with the skin and everything. That whole chunk is on the table. So I tell this person, you had asked for pork ribs. Now here are the pork ribs. Please come with me close. So I said, okay. Now, why don't we eat this pork ribs? So they are looking at the pork ribs and they are seeing, oh, there is white and pink flesh. It has got this amount of long hair. After that, there is a layer of fat. After that, there is a layer of yellow tendon. After that, there's all transparent mucus. Then there is blood on these sections. The bone is broken. Why is the blood clotting? Why these tendons are cut? By the time that person is looking at that, they don't like it, right? It gives us a impression, direct subconscious reflection of our own body parts, our own ribs, our flesh, and all of that. So it is disturbing to that person. Then after that, I say, I take the hand and I kind of put it in the pork ribs. Why don't we have the pork ribs? What the person does is they pull out the hands and they say, no, 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 it's all dirty and all of that. Where's the washroom? And go to the washroom and put the soap and all that and clean your hands. And then you come back and, even after you come out of the washroom, you try to smell and see, is there any smell of that mucus, that blood on my hands? And if it's there, they'll go and wash their hands again. So this is the reaction when a person is said, why don't you eat that meat? So what is happening over here? Why people are repulsive to this? Now, if I tell the person, go and uh, eat that pork ribs or go and taste it, lick it. If they lick it, the taste is also of mucus and blood, and it's very repulsive. So what's happening here? the five senses are working, your God-given five senses. So first of all, the sense of sight is looking at all that cut up and killed animal and thinks it's very violent. So your eyes don't like it. Then, of course, the taste of the pork ribs, or the taste of if you pick up a fish and lick it, you don't like that taste also. So first sense of sight says no. Second of taste says no. Then the smell of that pork ribs and blood and all that is also repulsive. Then the touch also, like I told, I put the person's hand in the pork ribs and all. The touch also. Four senses have said no. What is the fifth sense left? Sense of hearing. So again, it is the question. It's always a question. It's never telling. So if you start using this technique, you will get a lot of truth. So the question is, what was the sound made when you took that thing from its place in nature and tried to put it down your throat? So yeah, what is the sound that the pig makes? Everybody knows when you try to catch a pig and kill it, two, three men are required and four dogs in the village. They'll be running, it'll be screaming, and then after you, when you're cutting it and all, it makes horrible sounds. And we human beings hate that sound, and we don't like it. We know we're killing life. That's why all of the abattoirs and the butchers and all, they are not where people are staying. They're little kept far, the big places where animals are slaughtered, because people don't want to hear the cries of those animals. So your five senses have said no to the glazed pork ribs. The same thing for the if I take you to the fish, the live fish that are swimming. Then so that's the reason why you go to the mangoes and the fruits and all of that. Why? Because the mango is looking nice and colorful. It is smelling amazing. When you bite it, it tastes amazing. And the feeling, right? If I say, hold on, we don't eat the mango. So some, or don't eat the fruit. So some people will be standing with the mango in their hand. Some person will have two chickus in the hand. Some people have a bunch of grapes in the hand. We have no problem when we are touching those things. And you'll even play with it or see how smooth it is, or feel its weight, or how hard or soft. No problem with touch. And then what is the sound made when you took that fruit from nature and tried to put it in your body? It made a sound, but you were not traumatized by it. People are pulling out moolies also, radishes from the ground, carrots from the ground. You pull it out, you break it, it makes a crackling sound, the leaves and all, but you're not traumatized. And when you eat it also, it makes some sound, but we are not traumatized. So this is the current condition of the human body. And as the years go by, 100,000 years, 2,000, 3,000 years, deeper in Indian science, it's called the yugas. And through this, our senses also undergo some modification. But for a current period that we are now, our all our five senses are fine with pulling out the carrot from the ground, breaking it, eating it, and all. But we're not so fine about, taking the live chicken, trying to pull its feathers out, trying to bite its neck. We will just throw it because it is screaming and shouting so much. So this is the natural law, or the five God-given senses which are working. So people will go to the fruit first, and then you will eat all of the fruits. Somebody says, no, I will maybe eat something else. So I asked them, what is your favorite fruit? They say Alfonso mango. I said, okay, here are the three best ones in Goa, and here is a good cucumber. What will you eat? If you're a very, very hungry person, will say, okay, keep the cucumber. Let me enjoy the mango first. So even in that fruits and vegetables, we clearly know the difference. Now, if you have come to Goa on this vacation with your pets, somebody's come with their dog, somebody's come with their cat. We also allow them free in that dinner hall. Dinner hall. What is the cat going to eat? Is it going to eat basmati rice, dried basmati rice, or dal, or cucumber, carrot, mango? No. It is going to go first to the fish, not even the meat. Cat will go to the fish. Where will the dog go? Dog will try to eat meat. It's a lot of difficult work to catch the live chicken, bite it, all the feathers will come in the mouth, and the dog doesn't want that trouble. He will go nicely and take hold that pork ribs. He will pull it to the corner of the room. He will sit and he will eat. Now, if that pork ribs are not there and the dog is starving for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, then he will go and, kill one of these animals or try to do something to them and eat some meat. So even if you leave the chickens free in the room, they will go and eat the grains first. If you will eat the goat, it will go and eat the vegetables and the fruits. The cow will eat most of the more vegetables and fruits. So this is there for not only sentient mammalian vertebrates, but for all species on this planet who eat food. So this is the fourth law, which says that the five God-given senses of every sentient being on this planet tell them at every time what is their food and what is not their food. So even if you give a plate, in a big plate, you will put a mango for a dog, mango, raw fish, raw meat, and grains and all that in the same plate. The dog will only eat what is its food and it will eat the rest. And so this first step, you went and ate the food. I mean the fruits. Then after that, we say, okay, now we'll wait till everybody's hungry again. We'll do the next experiment. So 7 o'clock, you've eaten the fruits and you know you're going to get hungry again within 2 hours. So by 9 o'clock, you're hungry again. Everybody comes maybe 9:30, 10 till you're really hungry and you come in the dinner room. So, sorry, I've not muted everything. Let me just mute calls I have muted, but social media I forgot. Yeah, thank you. So, so you come at 10 o'clock at night to have your second meal. And you all notice that all that same table is there, but all the food except fruits are not there. I've taken out all the fruits. So now, what is the next thing you're going to eat? There is, there are vegetables, tomato, cucumber, there is carrot, there is beetroot, there is the dried palak, raw broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, rice, wheat, dal, pork ribs, chickens, goats, fish. So anybody can unmute themselves and tell me what is the next meal you're going to eat if there are no fruits at all. Yes? Yeah, so
Vegetable.
somebody just, yeah, Vartika has said cucumber. Fine. So that is a category of what I call edible vegetables. Some tasty vegetable, little taste is there. If you get organic cucumber, it is very nice. Yeah, some Manjushri has said salad. So maybe they will eat some salad leaves, some. Okay, we'll keep that. Let's say the beetroot and the carrot, which are also sweet in nature, we'll keep them along in the fruits category. So none of the sweet things are there. Then you will eat cucumber, tomato, salad leaves, celery. Okay, some raw beans also, like we have these string beans. I grow purple and green string beans. When they're tender, you can eat them also. Tender bhendi, okra also tender one. People eat it. It's even like a salad in some restaurants. There's a nice dish with it. So you eat the vegetables that are tasty. Then 10 p.m. everybody eats that, and then you're full. So now next morning again, when you get up 6, 7, 8 o'clock, where everybody's hungry, you come to the dinner table again, and then you see there are no edible vegetables. There is broccoli, there is what is that, palak leaves, there is all the raw vegetables, and the dals, the basmati rice, the wheat, and live and dead animals. So what are you going to eat? Right? Everybody knows the answer to that. That you will eat. First of all, you will not eat broccoli, and somebody will say, "Oh, I've got thyroid." And I say, "Okay, there are some other things there." Why don't you try that? So yeah, maybe somebody will eat that okra and all. So during that meal, not so tasty, and no adding of salt, sugar, cooking, nothing is allowed. Okay. So not so happy, but you will eat a little bit of broccoli and cauliflower and all of that. So you know what's going to happen now. So that meal is over. Next meal, maybe after 2, 3 hours, you're hungry again. You come back, and at that time, even these non-tasty vegetables are not on the table. There's rice, rajma, dal, wheat, millets, okay, uh, whatever dried beans and all, and the live and dead animals. What are you going to eat? Everybody knows the answer to that is that you're not going to eat first. How to eat dry rice and wheat and rajma and all of that. So, but then I say, okay, wait, sit. There is no other option. You can starve step by step, drink a little water and all. Then maybe by this time it's second day and all that, and some people are looking at their weight. Oh, I've lost 1.5 kilo weight. My energy also is a little low now. I was not expecting all of this, such you know, unnatural testing and all. So I say there's no option. Then when you start feeling low in energy, then your that vacuum, that pain in that stomach, yeah, that starts becoming more and more. Then you'll find some way to eat the rice. Some people may take little rice, put it in the mouth, keep it over there soaking for about 10 minutes. Actually, in 10, 15 minutes, you'll see the rice get soft. Then you'll eat it. Now, this is what you'll see some animals in the wild also that they will, they will keep the nut or rice or grain or something soaking in the mouth. And after 10, 15 minutes, they will munch it because it's a little soft. Some of you who are very smart will take the rice and the millets and all of that. Previous day itself, maybe you'll take it and you'll soak it in water overnight. Morning, you'll say, morning it will be sprouted, so I can eat it. So then maybe you will do the sprouting and hunger till next morning. But next morning you'll get sprouts and you'll eat maybe half a kilo of sprouted rice or millet and all. Now, after that, the next meal is going to be no grains, no pulses, no beans, peas, and all of that, no seeds, only the meat, the live and dead animals. Uh, what are you going to eat? We all know the answer there. Nobody's going to eat any of the raw meats. And of course, then again, some smart people, of course, because they have observed and because they've done also, they will see Chinese, they are eating sushi. Now, even I was doing that for 7, 8 years when I was a non-vegetarian. But you have to notice that they're not just eating it raw. They put soya sauce, which we know is very strong in taste, and wasabi, which has got a lot of spice. And I used to see that when I used to, go to these sushi places and have fish sushi, like fillet of salmon and other things, the meat used to be so thin, like semi-transparent, whitish, and pinkish. But in a saucer, I used to put that soya sauce and wasabi and just keep it there for just in 5 minutes. It used to get marinated. So the soft, transparent fillets they would become white, like as if they are half cooked. So because those things were going in them. So basically, I'm saying is the taste is changed. So that's how people are eating raw. And if anybody says, no, no, I eat raw meat and all, then I say, okay, here is raw chicken. Yeah, start eating it today, every day. Uh, you know how much is it possible? Have you seen any just a chicken leg? Let's say we take out the feathers and there is the skin. Uh, the person will bite out the skin, but that flesh, raw flesh, have you tried to bite it and eat it? You can't even bite it. It does not break because once it is thoroughly cooked, then in one bite with the incisors, it will get cut. Otherwise, it doesn't get cut. You'll spend about almost 1 hour trying to eat one chicken leg. And then if you do that every day, I guarantee you within 1 week, you will be in hospital. So, so this is what actually meat eater is. So what's happening now? Uh, how, I I say, we can all say, I eat meat, but it should not look like meat. It cannot look like pink with black hair and yellow fat and transparent mucus and red blood and yellowish bones. It can't look like meat. It can look, brown. It can look green like haryali kebab. It can look orange also like tandoori, but it must not look like what meat looks. And I can eat meat, but it must not smell like meat. So you better put bay leaves, pepper, coriander, so many things to make my fool my sense of smell. So that is sense of sight, sense of smell is food, then sense of taste. All the herbs and all that we put, it'll say, change the taste. And then what is left? Touch and hearing. So touches. That's why you see in the Western countries, when a lot of meats are eaten, they use the fork and spoon because initially they don't even want to touch the meat because you poke that fork in the chicken piece, and by the time it's coming to your nose, it's coming to your mouth, your sense of smell is, wow, this is food. Now the eyesight, it's looking tandoor, so it's not the real color of flesh, so that is food. By the time you touch it here, your taste is full, okay? And then you're not even holding it with your hand. But in countries like India and other vegetarian countries, we have no problem right from the start of the meal to put our hand in the rice and the dal and mix it and eat it. And even after that meal is over, we'll be licking all our fingers. So that's the sense of uh, touch. So here is when we understand the next law of nature of God, which says that you can only feed the human body food not meant for human beings after you have fooled all your five God given senses. This is a law, and every one of us is subject to this law. Otherwise, you have to eat raw fish every day, you have to eat raw chicken every day, and prove that you are a meat eater. So, which we are not. The dog, the cat, and all of the mouse, all of those are. They love it every day. We hate it every day, and we'll fall sick if we do it. So these are the laws of nature. And I will continue this presentation because there are another two laws. So we will cover that as well. So the third law was what I said, God has provided all species who eat food in its natural and unaltered state. And by the way, there may be some atheists also who said, oh, they just make fun. What if God had forgotten to give food to some species on the planet? What is your answer? Well, if they didn't get food, those species are dead and gone. They are not existing. So, all that are eating on the planet right now, God or nature has provided every day. Then, this was that experiment that we did. The five God given senses of every sentient being tells them every time what is their food and what is not their food. And this is the last one that I covered now. You can only feed the human body food not meant for it after you fool all its five God given senses. Now, why am I saying God given senses every time and not just senses? There's something very deep in that, which we will go later and understand about universal law, natural law, and about our human DNA, human cells, human spirit. We will look at from where that is coming. And we will look at whether we have made those things or who has made those things and how they survive and how they live. The next is God has given every being that eats food within the containment of its own body, the complete mechanism of getting its food and eating its food. So, if you say, I'm a fish eater, Then I will take you in a boat in the middle of the river and the sea, and I will throw you in the water. Now you swim over there and you catch even one fish and show me whether it's a half inch, 1 inch, 2 inch, or a 1 foot fish. You cannot swim as fast as them, and you cannot catch them. Then, if you are saying I'm a chicken eater, then I will leave you in the wild countryside with a country fowl, which is not domesticated, which doesn't like to be touched, which starts jumping and flying and sitting on top of a tree the moment a human being comes 5 to 6 feet near it. You won't be able to catch that. Whole day you'll be running after it, you'll get tired and you'll fall down, but that chicken will be somewhere else. So even if the that cow is there in the room, now what is this containment of its own body? Containment means your body, and the containment of the human body is your naked body. Okay, just you. No, shirt, pant, frock, dress, anything. Yeah, no gun, no axe, no spear, nothing. So without these things, we can't do anything. And the cow is standing in the room. I challenge you in your birthday should go kill that cow with your big teeth and your hands and your nails. You can't do it. The moment the cow gets a little bit of pain, it will horn you, it will kick you. Even the mountain goat, if it's in the mountains, you will not be able to catch it and all of that, right? Now, the next law is these details are in my book, Become Healthy or Extinct. You can read it there in the chapter on food. Even the design of our teeth, front teeth, back teeth, and everything, the design of our digestive tract, the quantity of bile, the quantity of hydrochloric acid, everything. The cow has got two stages of stomach, so but we've got one stage. The certain thing in the we've got 22 feet of intestines, but the tiger and all that, they just have a very short intestine but a very broad one. So the digestive system and the entire design is different. And all of this shows that we are vegetarians or mainly eating plant foods. So that's how I have come to this. Next slide is this food pyramid. Now, did I bring this food pyramid from some university or something? Most universities and US FDA and all that, they don't have this food pyramid. They have a wrong food pyramid. But this food pyramid is the one that you have built through this experiment. I asked you, and you only told me first fruits. Then after that, you said, okay, nuts, then tasty vegetables, then raw beans and peas, or you know, like French beans and all of that, or green peas. You can eat them raw also. Then the not tasty vegetables like cauliflower and maybe palak and whatnot. Then after that, you said when these are not available, we'll have grains and seeds and beans and pulses with difficulty. And finally, you said meats and fish we cannot eat. Now, some of you may think this is a very cool experiment. Again, I will say, please look at the living sciences. What I did was actually the seasons of the year. Mango is not going to be there every season. Tomato also, it will not grow in the rainy season. It's an arid crop, dry. Then so many of the vegetables also, they come in season, they go in season. If as per nature. Now, in this organic farming and natural farming and various things, we will make a different environment. We will grow wheat twice a year. That is our artificial system. Others, wheat grows and rice grows once a year during rains. Then we will create what is called microclimate. I am growing, certain vegetables I was growing in between in the rains by covering a certain shed of my garden with transparent, thick plastic. And certain vegetables which don't go in rains, I was growing like Karela also because the flowers are small and the raindrops hit them and they break. So we do all of this manipulation. But otherwise, and if you go by seasons of nature, this is the experiment that we did. Okay, food comes, certain foods, and they go. They're not available all year. The grains are available mainly in the after the rains. So this is now October in India, and you're seeing all the rice and wheat coming up. By end of October, first week of November, they will harvest it. So grains naturally come in that time, winter months, November, December, January, and all. You can be eating them, but we eat them four times a day all throughout the year. And with complex carbohydrates, we put on more weight, we get diabetes also. So every action we do which breaks natural law, there is 1 dozen diseases for it. Okay. So this is how the food pyramid happened for all of us. It is happening by asking questions. Now, so people are saying that, yeah, vegetarian food also now, you don't get all the nutrients. So we have done the blood test and it is showing some vitamin and mineral deficiencies for vegetarians. And that is why they come up with the logic. These are the laboratory, okay, what I call the dead sciences. So they say now we must give them meat because meat will have the complete range of nutrients. And so, if you're going by that science, you have to truly go by that science. And you have to truly eat the meat that is most closest to your own, nutrients and all for the human body. Whose meat will that be? You can see in that picture. A very young, healthy human being. Because all the things in their flesh are the best. So this is where the dead sciences, fake sciences will take you to eat. Now people are saying, eat wild salmon, you eat a wild goat and all of that. But it is going in this direction to the day where we will have to eat human beings if you follow the science completely. This is what we learned in COVID, no? Follow the science, follow the science. So people don't want to work like scientists. They want to just follow what the uh, mainstream is telling us. Now, what is the reason that vegetarians and raw food people and vegans they have deficiencies? So, look at this statement that is there. Nutrients come into plants from the air, water, salt, and soil, and all of that. And from there, plants get the nutrients, and then animals, vegetarian animals, and then that's how human beings also get our food. Now, what if the current farming practices in the world, even what government supports horticulture department and all, when first crop is grown and harvested, then you have to put nutrients back in the soil. Then they teach you NPK, three of the minerals. But what about the other 75, 78 minerals? Who's going to put them back in the soil? And what is the process of doing that? That is all missing in commercial farming. So we do not get all the nutrients in the soil in commercial farming. That's why our plants also are minerally deficient. So if we are going to eat those plants, then all vegetarians are going to be minerally deficient. So the real correction is not to run after supplements and to create a new industry. The real correction is to fix the basic law that you have destroyed on the planet and which this whole planet and ecosystem is going to collapse if you don't do that. So to do the real work, we have to do the work. But to do compensatory work, there are a lot of companies and all who are willing to make money of us. So from this, and if you watch our video also making newer, you will see for every sickness, for every breaking of natural law, there is a deficiency created, and then big companies will come only to make money of your deficiency and of your lack of knowledge. Okay. So, but that is why this earth is getting destroyed. So that is why now we are going back to natural organic farming practices. That's why we are devising more and more deeper systems of composting and all of that. Uh, so that's one big reason. Now the next reason why vegetarians, vegans, raw food people and all are having also deficiencies is because uh, there is it's vegetarian, it is plant based, but it is processed with chemicals and all. That is causing intestinal inflammation, ulceration. When the intestines are inflamed and have mild ulcers and all, they cannot absorb nutrients. So again, the nutrients that are getting from the fully well mineralized plants, that is also not getting absorbed. So you have those gut issues. And then when you have a weakness in your digestive tract and your intestines, then raw food also becomes hard to digest. Okay, because all other species are eating raw food because their gut system and their nutrients are their digestive system is strong. So now I come to this next slide, which is very important. This is natural food in a natural environment. And the next slide is altered food in an altered environment. This even nutritionists don't talk of. That is why it's a very important aspect of nutrition. That's why I focus on it. So what is natural environment? Natural environment is where here, for example, where you're walking bare feet, where you are drinking water from brooks and streams and from wells. I'll explain about that water, which I call living water, and what is the difference between that and what is dead water that we are getting in our cities, which is the artificial environment. So natural environment is the five elements of earth, water, fire, air, space. So earth is the natural soil, then water is the natural flowing water, fire is the sunlight. So in all these places you get good sunlight because there is no pollution. But in the city, you are not getting actual sunlight. You're getting sunlight that is come through the radiation of all the polluting gases. So less of sunlight and then radiations of other things are coming on your body. Earth, water, fire, air. Air is pure and well balanced oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide in these places. But in the city, it's all obnoxious gases. So air element is corrupted and space. Look at all these places, the natural homes and all of that. No Wi-Fi, no Bluetooth, no electricity cables, nothing like that. So that space element also in our modern lives is completely destroyed where there are radiations all around our body. So, this slide, what is it explaining is that when you live in a natural environment completely and you're walking bare feet, you get the earth element. From water, you get the best water element. Then you can eat 100% raw food, like all other species who are living in these normal wild environments. These environments are created by the one who has created us. So there's a complete match over there. So now in this altered environment, in the city, we are wearing footwear, so we are not getting enough earth element. So we have to now compensate and put more earth element into the body. And that is achieved by cooking food, making it, getting the body to have heavier food that has got more of the earth or solid element, earth element. So that's why we are eating rice, wheat, and all of these things. So because we are wearing footwear, we get less earth elements. So we get more earth element through our cooked food, earth, water. So now I'm coming to water element. See, water has got 4, 5 properties, which I call living water. So what are those 4, 5 properties? Um, in the village and in the countryside, water is flowing. You all know this is natural law. Water flows from a higher place to a lower place, right? And so that water, one of the properties of water is mineral content. So when that water is flowing from all the brooks and streams and rocks and stones, it is picking up all minerals and coming into our wells and all of that. Now, many people think, oh, well is a stationary water. No, there is a water aquifer. There's a small stream running under it. And every time you take out water from top, new water comes from down. So that is also a flowing thing. So as compared to that, in the city, okay. So in the city, what is happening? Where do we get water from? We get it from the tap. Where is that coming from? It is coming from a reservoir where there is a dam. So the dam, the making of the dam is breaking natural law on the planet. The dam, if it was not there, the river would have flowed downstreams and all the side, both the banks of the downstream river, there would have been villages all the way till the end, till the river goes into the sea. There would have been villages all across left and right. But they stopped that water. Now, what happens to that water and its 5 properties? So, because water is stagnant and it's stopped and it's not flowing, the minerals sink to the bottom of the reservoir. And that's what we call silt. Now, where is the water drawn in from? How do you get it to your taps? There is a pump, and the pump has got a pipe going at the base of the reservoir. So it sucks up all the water from that area, and the silt in that area, it comes into the pipe and it comes to you. But rest of the entire 99.99% of that reservoir, all the minerals are sunk to the bottom and they're lying there. So in your tap water, you get water without minerals. That's why the TDS in tap water is low. So one property of water is destroyed and damaged, which is less mineral content. Now the next is, one second. Yes. So the next thing is that we are getting this water, which is having no minerals in it or very less. Now the second property of water. When water is flowing through the brooks and streams, it is getting electrical charge. Okay. And that electrical charge also living water, it becomes dead in that time. You may have read, some of you may have read the book Healing is Voltage. Yes, electricity and voltage is so important for nutritional exchange in the human body, and even certain voltage when we are walking bare feet, okay, with negative ions from the earth coming into our body, which is called earthing or grounding. That is also so important. But this electrical charge in water is missing from our tap, but it is there in the brooks and streams water. Now, the third property is in the brooks and streams water, there is bacteria, living probiotic bacteria, which is actually doing the job of our digestion and converting food into nutrients that go into the bloodstream. So what happens in the dam? Water stagnant, so water gets bad, pathogens start proliferating, and then they have to put chlorine into that water before they pump it to us. And that's how they kill all the living organism and probiotic bacteria and all. So we are getting water without any probiotics. So then again, this whole probiotic industry we have to invent. No other species on the planet needs probiotic food. Even if probiotics started right from the time of Egyptians and all 6,000 years back, still it is a artificial science. It breaks natural law. It is not a living science that is existing on the planet anywhere else with any other species. So, um, this from where does this probiotic bacteria come? When you know actually get to be an organic farmer, when you start culturing microorganisms and all, then you come to understand this fully, that the seawater itself with its minerals and its bacteria, they go up in vapor into the clouds, then they come down as rain. So the rainwater's got the bacterium, it goes into the soil, from the soil the bacteria comes into the plants, and then it comes to you if you do not scrape and clean and cook all your vegetables and raw fruits. So that's the third property gone. Then the fourth property is microclustered. What is microclustered? When the water is flowing and hitting brooks and streams, it's hitting against those rocks and all. So the molecules remain very small. Uh, that means they don't bunch together. So size of water molecule, particular types of water, they are the same, but they don't club together. They remain free. But in that dam, you know the hydraulic pressure of trillions and trillions of tons of water just standing there. It compresses the water and the water molecules start sticking. And the ones at the bottom, there are 7, 8 water molecules stuck to each other. And that is the one that is pulled out from that suction pipe and given to you in your municipality water. So when that water comes to you, you don't get properly hydrated. So There was one experiment. Any of you who have seen the demo of Kangen water? And there's a video online also which shows you. Maybe I will share it in the group after today's session, where you can see that there are three empty glasses, okay, transparent glasses. And in one, they put Bisleri water. In the second, they put one soda. And the third, they put uh, this Kangen water. Now, Kangen is a machine. It costs a lot. It's, somewhere near 3 lakhs. It, through the platinum plates and all of these processes, they give they make the water microclustered. They give it electrical charge. They make it neutral, alkaline, acidic, all those things. But yeah, the mineral, the probiotic bacteria and all is not there because that water comes from your tap. There is no living bacterium there. So in this experiment of Kangen to show its smaller molecules of water, that uh, those three glasses, and then the third has got Kangen water. Then they take one type of tea bags. They take out three tea bags, and in the first glass they dip the first tea bag about 3-4 times and leave it. What can you see after that? Transparent water and a tea bag inside. Then in the soda glass also, they will dip it 3-4 times, leave it there. What can you see? Transparent soda and tea bag. But in the Kangen water, when they dip it by the third dip, the tea is coming out of the water. And the fourth dip, your medium light tea is ready. How did this happen? This happened because the Kangen water was micro-clustered and small molecules without clubbing together. They went into into the tea leaves, they did the ion exchange, and they brought the tea out. So this is when you drink that water, you get truly hydrated. So this municipality water is not giving you that hydration. So we need more water and still we remain dehydrated. So this is one example in more detail that I gave about water. Okay. So in the group later, I will give more explanations of how to make your own healthier water. There are different methods. I just take a simplest method here in Goa. I just take the tap water. We boil it off, keep the lid open when it's boiling, let the chlorine evaporate, cool it down. We put it in a matka, that is earthen pot. Then it becomes a little alkaline. Then whenever taking the water, I let it fall from on top, a place to a lower place where my cup is. So when the water hits, okay, and impacts and thrashes like how we do that chai, right? It starts getting little microcluster. If somebody wants to make it more microclustered, put it in your Sumit mixer and put on the whip button 3-4 times. So water gets chopped. So then it can hydrate your body a little more. There are machines that cost 20-30,000 that centrifuge water. So this one example I gave about water. So in the natural environment, you get the natural water element. In the altered environment of our city, we get dead water. So we have to drink more water. So we have to eat more fruits also because fruits have got water content in them that are filtered and balanced in right proportion with minerals, vitamins, and fiber. Okay, so having organic fruits in the city is much better than chemical fruits, of course. But even if there are chemical fruits, having fruits and which have water content are better than having your tap water actually for overall health. So I just give example of this one element of water. Then soil, you all know all the deficiencies in soils and the chemicals in soils, all of that. So this is how we come to that part of the science, and we're balancing the equation. In 100% natural environment, you can eat 100% natural food. That is why our movement is back from the city. We are trying to go back to the village. This is why I came to Goa in 2010 to live a natural life, to have well water, to walk bare feet, to have my shirt off when I'm gardening, get sun element over here, and to eat more natural and raw food. So I will just continue this part of the presentation and then we will have a pause break for anybody's questions and all, maybe in another 10-15 minutes. So yeah, by 11 o'clock, we can have some Q&A. and then we'll go on for another one. So this was about the element. Now, for this deeper science, you can read this chapter in my book on food combination, pages 109, 1010. Now, what it explains is that 100% raw diet increases vayu or vata, which is the air element in the body. And this is for, we are talking about people who are staying in the city. So only a kapha body type, that is a body type that has more of earth and water element in it, can remain 100% on a 100% raw diet because they have an abundance of earth and water elements. So eating, just raw fruits and vegetables and all 100%, it balances. They can take up to, this full raw diet. But if you're a pitta body type, um, like my body type is more on the pitta side, which has the prominence of water and fire element. So because I have more fire element, that's why I do so many activities and programs and all of that. Many of you are aware about that. So there's a lot of fire in my entire system to do things. So I can have only up to 75% raw diet. If I have more than 75% raw diet, what will happen? I'll explain that. And then the person whose vata element or air element, which is prominence of air and space, it's already high in their body. If they will do 100% raw diet and all, they'll get sick very quickly. So they also should have only up to 50% raw diet. So what are the symptoms of overdoing raw or cooked food? You can see this on my website, becomehealthierextinct.com. It's there in my main website, only darryldesouza.com. You'll find it there. The section called dosha diet. But I will just share symptoms of too much of air element in your body is dry skin, hair fall, loss of weight, you become very thin, then insomnia, not getting sleep at night, and becoming thinking too much, having too many worries, and talking also too much. So in this page, Dosha Diet on my website, you will get a test where you have to fill some simple questions. They're scoring from 0 to 10. It's a nice experiment that you can do in half an hour. It will show you whether your body is a kapha body type, pitta, or vata. And if it's a vata, then you will see lower on that page. That means air element is high. So eat this kind of food to bring down or normalize your water element. So there is like that kapha pacifying diet, pitta pacifying diet also. And now this last principle is eat transition foods when you are sick and healing. So this entire basic understanding of food and nutrition, what I've given you today, at the top level, is that experiment that we did. What is food and what is not food for all human beings? Then the next below that is anybody who has some sickness or chronic illness and all of that. To heal those illnesses, there are certain foods that you should take out from your diet. So in my diabetes reversal program, many of you have seen, I've said stop milk and milk products completely. Uh, Reduce rice, stop wheat also completely, reduce rice as much as possible. So that's taking out of certain foods. Then I say instead of that, have millets, have jawar. Don't have ragi because that has got higher glycemic index. Have jawar, bajra, brown top millet, barnyard millet, kodo millet, foxtail millet. Those are all called positive millets. Then for diabetes, it will also be stop eating fried foods, bake, boil, roast, and steam food, and then some adding some foods and subtracting some foods. So this is the case with anything, with acidity also, with hormonal imbalance. So during your from sickness to health, that phase, certain foods are added, certain foods are minus. And when you get healed and your condition is gone, then that's the third level of nutrition. Eat according to your body type. So if you have no chronic illnesses, then your last two principles when you apply on you: eat food for human beings and eat according to your body type. That is the amount of cooked and raw food. And this is just a sample here. You will see it on page 149 of my book, which is giving, different things regarding diet. Morning you wake up, do all this activity, washroom and all. After that, you do some exercise. Why? Because the dinner that you ate, it should not be stagnant in your body. Energy should flow. That is a healthy body. So doing a little bit of activity and all will help you move the energy of your dinner. And then once you do that activity, you'll get natural hunger. That's when your first meal should be your basic food, which is fruit. So then fruit is the first diet. Then after that, you can see 1.5 hour when you're hungry. Then you have vegetable soup, bowl of sprouts, or porridge of a millet or oats, or you can cook, one millet grain. In my program on digestion and nutrition, you will say I say don't even eat rotis because of phytic acid present in the rotis. Instead of that, you have the millet grain by itself. So then after that, there is main meal of the day when the stomach fire is the highest, 12 o'clock. You can have a now have a big raw salad if you need to lose weight. If you don't need to lose, or if you uh, weight, then you can have cooked food. If you need to reverse diabetes, have the 200 ml raw vegetable juice made out of 4-5 veggies. If you don't want to lose weight, have a cooked millet grain with a vegetable curry and a side vegetable. Then in the evening, have a herbal tea. So that's also natural medicine for any of your illnesses with a handful of nuts. Change the herb every day, 15 days, and change the nut also often. Why this principle of rotation of foods is there is explained in my other lecture on nutrition. All of these are online. You can access them from my website. Then last is dinner. Have a dinner of one type of cooked millets with a vegetable curry or stew or some other dish of vegetables on the side or a big vegetable soup. People who have, Vayu element, air element higher, please don't have raw salad for dinner because that will increase Vayu element and you will not get sleep at night. So then there are some, this for all human beings, do not have milk and milk products. There's a next slide on it. Do not have soft drinks because of the processed sugar in them, which is very acidic. Then do not use table salt, the fine one, because there are chemicals in it. I have reduced sea salt, and you can use Himalayan rock salt for people who have high BP. Keep fried foods to the minimum. Bake, boil, roast, or steam if you want to have cooked food. Those are healthier methods. Do not use microwave, they change the molecular structure of food. And then do not eat processed food that has preservatives and stabilizers, which is all chemical food. So now, next slide is just about my journey. For those of you who are new to my work, you can see my transformation. The top slides are from the age of 22 years till 34 years in 2004 when I got sicker and sicker and all the illnesses that I was suffering from. And then when I went on to a vegetarian diet and used acupressure for diagnosing and healing my organs, those are all the pictures at the bottom. And you can see that was 52 years, that is 2 years back. And today also on the video, you can see I'm looking the same at 54 years. So all this reverse aging and better health and all came because I went on a completely plant-based diet. Okay, so now I'll just want you to read this one slide. This I'm putting today because it is the most harmful food on the planet. And how we will verify that? We will verify this in the next slide by asking those same questions using the living sciences. So what it says here, all forms of cow and buffalo milk like milk, powder, cheese, milk powder, cheese, paneer curd, lassi, Chas, buttermilk, ghee, softie, smoothie, cheesecake, ice cream, cream, mayonnaise, milk chocolates, milk solids in biscuits, like Mari biscuit and all. These things contribute to acidity, gas, bloating, stomach cramps, diarrhea, lactose intolerance, mumps, obesity, acne, pimple, high BP. You can read this whole list here, right? Cholesterol, diabetes, heart disease. For people who are not looking at the video and all on the mobile, I'm reading this out for them. Milk also causes kidney stones, arthritis, bone and joint problems, bone spurs, cough, cold, sinus, asthma, hormonal imbalance, painful periods, PCOD, fibroids, ovarian cancer, breast cancer, autoimmune diseases, tendency towards tonsillitis, bronchitis, pneumonia, etc. So, you see, alcohol causes acidity and arthritis and all that. But alcohol will not cause hormonal imbalance. It will not cause PCOD fibroids. It will not cause cataract. Okay. And it will not cause diabetes. So you can imagine milk is even more harmful than alcohol. So how do we find out this science of milk? And in the Indian system, people say that, yeah, Ayurveda also has recommended milk. So my question is, how old is Ayurveda? So the answer is it's 4,500 years old. And then my question is this questions that I asked about nutrition and food, which will also apply to milk and milk products now. The answers you gave me, how old are they? They are as old as human beings on this planet. So 6,000 years old. So this science today is predating Ayurveda. Now, there are some doubts you will have about our species. We were hunters and gatherers, and then later we became vegetarian. So I'll come to that slide later. But now we'll just look at milk and milk products. So these are the questions we have to ask, which I'm asking you also now. You won't hear this from doctors because, nutrition is not a subject that is taught in the MBBS course. They just have a couple of hours of lecture on it, which are only classifying foods as vitamins, minerals, fiber, and all that. But which of these are for us, which are not for us, when should we eat, when should we not eat, what is the season, how much proportion of this and that, nothing is taught. So, this is the question that I'm asking everyone. Which mammals drink their own mother's milk after the age of 2-3 years besides human beings? Every one of you know that the cat and the dog, their puppies are feeding on them just for 3, 4, 5 months. That's all. Then you see the cow and the calf also drink. The calf is drinking its own mother's milk up till the age of 2 years, maximum 3 years. Now they are doing it naturally. Nobody's telling them what to do and not to do. So the question is, there are two reasons, okay, that the child is not having the mother's milk on its own, which is there in its DNA. So one of the reasons is from the mother's side, and one of the reason for not having milk is from the baby's side or the calf side. So I'm asking this question to everybody here. Those of you who have read my book already know these answers because you have attended my earlier programs on health. Please don't give the answer. This is from everybody else. Can you unmute your mic and tell me which are the two reasons that goats, the small baby goat does not have its own mother's milk after the age of 2, 3 years? Why the calf doesn't have its own mother, cow, or buffalo's milk? Can somebody unmute and tell me?
I think because by that time it finds a substitute to the mother's milk in the after that time period of 2 years or 5 months
Yeah, so it
from
finds a
other food
substitute.
sources.
Yeah, so now how does it know that I have to have a substitute? Has somebody taught it? No, right? And the second thing is we also realize it gets teeth at that time, right? So that is why it can go and eat some solid food. So still the main two reasons are not there in it. Anybody else? What is the reason from the baby's side? It doesn't will not have its mother's milk. And what is the reason from the mother's side? She will not give the milk. This is natural law. This is God designed behavior of those all mammals on the planet. 350, 400 mammals. No university or scientist on the planet can change this science. So if they've written anything different than this, they don't know science or they are lying for specific reasons, like they get paid to write such articles in the magazines that are funded by the milk and meat industry. Anybody? What is the reason? Any other guesses? I'm really surprised. Yeah, there are about 38 people here. Generally, when I do a class of even 20 people, there are 4, 5 replies. So I'm just saying this is how much we do not know natural law. So I will just explain this first answer you all know. It is from the mother's side is the mother's breast itself stops producing the milk after 2 years or 3 years maximum. If the mother cow has another baby after 1 year or 2 years, the milk will keep on coming for another 2 years, 3 years for that baby. And then after that also, for example, my mother, my elder sister is 2 years elder to me. Then I came. Then my younger sister is 1 year younger to me. So yes, it was a fact that my mother lactated for 2 + 1 3 +1 4 and +1 5 years in a row. Okay. Otherwise, if it's only one calf, then the mother's breast milk stops. So this is designed by God. So there is no possibility for any calf, even if it goes to its mother's breast, the milk is not there. Now, the second reason from the calf side is the same example I gave you all of that puppy. Okay. So the calf's biology over 2 years, it starts getting the teeth, and then the stomach function and the liver function, bile function, acid function, everything is developed to eat other solid fruit like grasses, like leaves and fruits and all of that. So the internal system of the biology of the mammal changes. And that is uh, like that a puppy, what I said, with the communication from the stomach to the brain. So now the digestive signal of the calf starts signaling that, sends the signal to the brain to desensitize. That means give lesser and lesser smell and taste to the milk. That means milk has got what it is, but it will deactivate. So now the calf will not like the taste of the milk and neither the smell of the milk. So that is why the calf does not find it attractive, and the senses find the grass and the fruits and all attractive. So going to the next reason, same thing happens with our children. When we were young, and even in my case, I remember I used to drink milk when I was very young, and then I started doing what we call nataks. That means the child is making a fuss about drinking milk. So this happens by the age of 4 because the same God-given mechanism for all mammals happens to our own children. And then our parents who are watching at the TV and looking at ads there and are told by doctors that your child must have milk because of calcium and all of that and to get protein. Now the doctors, you do not ask the doctor, where is the mother cow's milk getting calcium and protein from? So when the doctor answers from vegetables and plants and grains and nuts, then you understand also that the source of all those things are there. So because the doctor said, then we will do this. Give the child formula, and Horlicks, Complan, Bonvita, and all of that. So this is how we start fooling the taste and smell of our children. By what? What is the taste of Complan, Bonvita, and all? It is sweet. What is sweet in our food pyramid? Our first basic food of fruits. So we take that taste and all smell of that fruit and then we put it in our milk and we fool the child's senses. Now the child is drinking the milk not because of milk, it is drinking because of the sweetness that is coming from these fruits. Now, same thing. Why do the adults eat mango, or banana milkshake, or chiku, sitafal, blueberry ice cream? Adults say, no, 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 I don't like plain milk, but I love ice cream. What ice cream? Strawberry ice cream, chiku ice cream. You understood, right? These are all the taste of fruits. So the body is thinking it's eating fruits. Now, suppose you're having a strawberry ice cream in the middle of an ice cream parlor, you're there, and I come with one small gadget and I say, please wait, stop, pause your eating. I just put that gadget close to that and it sucks out the strawberry taste. Okay, it leaves the color there. But now that cone has got pink ice cream in it, it has not got any strawberry flavor and it's not got any sugar. You tell me whether you will finish that ice cream. And so you know, you will not finish it. Which is the human being who is eating frozen milk and enjoying it without any sugar? Nobody on a daily basis. So this is how we are manipulating our senses. Next is, why do mammals stop producing lactase and renin by the age of 4 years? This is found out in the laboratories and with all the tests of the digestive system. It is because of that same thing. The senses, they deactivate. So lactase is and renin are the digestive enzymes to break down the milk molecule. And when human body and all mammals stop producing it, after that, if you put milk in the body, you will get sick. And doctors call it lactose intolerance. It is not a sickness. We are doing something wrong to the human body, and the human body is trying to get sick and telling us to stop this nonsense. And again, some questions. They have found out that the estrogen level, that is the female growth hormone in cow's milk, is 30 times higher than the estrogen in the human body of normal people, teenagers, grown ups, adults, and all of that. This is the scientific test. Okay, so if you will drink milk and milk products, which has got this 30 times high estrogen, then you are going to get hormonal imbalance, PCOD, fibroid, ovarian cancer, breast cancer, hormonal malfunction, man boobs, hair, too much of hair growth on the female body coming on the chin and all of that. All these dysfunctions happen from high estrogen. Now, all of this, what I'm sharing now, is from the milk of the organic grass fed Indian cow with that A2 milk with the hump and all of that. Okay. I'm not talking of, we know that commercially produced cow's milk has got synthetic growth hormones. It has got uh, also synthetic, you know, hormones that make the cows give more milk. Then they also feed antibiotics to the cows and buffaloes because they can't afford them. They put antibiotics in their food every second or third day because they can't afford any of those animals who are living in sickly factory conditions to get sick. All these three things: synthetic growth hormone, then uh, hormones for more milk and antibiotics all come in the milk, commercial milk. So we fall sicker, we get more hormonal imbalance, we get cysts and fibroids more. But this hormonal imbalance will come from natural organic cow's milk also, which has got 30 times more estrogen. So now I have to match this scientific measurement in the laboratory. I'm just going to use the living sciences. So my question to you is very simple. Two questions. Is how many years does it take for a new calf born of a cow to become full size, a mature to the right height? Anybody knows that? Lived on a farm,
3 to 4 years.
of which breed?
Uh, Ghee or any desi breed.
Uh, from what I've seen, most of them are becoming full size within 24 months, which is 2 years, or some of them are having even a little more, another 6 months. So on average, it is 2 or 3 years. And now the second question is, how many years does it take for the human newborn baby to become full-size human being? We all know the answer to that. 18 years, 20 years. Nowadays, children are going faster because they are on growth hormones of all of this. So menstruation also, instead of happening at 14, is happening at 13, 12, 10, 9 also. Because our children are eating so many milk and milk products, which are all having this. So the answer people know it's 18 to 20. So then the next question is, what is the factor between you 2 divide by 20? It is somewhere near 10. Now the next question is, what is the average weight of a human being who's not excessively obese, let's say? So you will say, yeah, about 70 kilos. Some people are 60, some are 70, some are 80, some are 90. So let's take about 70 kilos. My next question is, what is the size of a comparable cow? You know the answer is 200 plus, 240, 250, 280. So what is the factor between both of them if you divide it? 7 threes are 21. This is almost a factor of 3. So now you multiply those two things, growing at such a rapid rate in just 2 years or 2.5 years. There's a factor of 3 into a factor of 10. That gives you a factor of 30. Now, is that matching with this estrogen level? So, such high estrogen is required for that excessively fast growth and for the big size of the cow also, with the thicker bone density, thicker flesh, more strength, and huge size. So then, if anybody makes a claim, no, 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 it's not 30% higher times estrogen in the human body. So I said in the Indian cow. So I said, okay, show me an Indian cow that is not growing in 2, 3 years fully, and show me the Indian cow which is not 3 times the size of the villagers around there. So these are the facts everywhere of cows and human beings on the planet. Next is, why is the protein in cow's milk 17 times heavier than the protein in human milk? This I had given because one of the dietitians was saying that on our groups was saying that the composition of cow's milk and human milk is very close. So it is fine for us. Now you can see this already, 30 times higher estrogen. Then you can see this 17 times. So the protein is different. Cow's milk has got casein, and human breast milk has got lactalbumin. So it is a completely different protein. And the cow's milk is, in my book, you'll read, it is 278 kangstrom in molecular weight. And human breast milk is somewhere near, I think, was it 50 or something like that. So when you do the maths, it is 17 point something, 5 or 7, I think. So when such a heavier molecule goes into the human body, into your stomach, first your stomach try to plain milk, it try to say I don't want it. And but then you change the taste and all, you make cheese, so it is sour, now you like it, and you make cake and you put it down. Then it has to go down in the stomach. Then the body drops HCl has to go lower and lower up to 2 pH, 1.5 pH to break down the milk, this casein protein. And that causes acidity in the human body. Okay, so these are some of the basic things just to show you that it is only by asking the right questions that you will understand what is food and what is not food. And we will extend this today to other things also regarding our body and our mind and all of that. So this article I will share in the group. It's a long article that I've written. There are just here 4 5 questions, but in that there are about 1 dozen questions, and all the answers we know, and this we get from our own experience in life. So I will share in the group. I will share my book, Become Healthy or Extinct, with all these chapters, all the science in it, and yeah. So now I'll just continue with this last part. When humans were hunter-gatherers, we ate anything due to hunger. That means first, wherever we were standing, we ate all the fruits, vegetables, and all of that. And we had not known farming till this time. Then, because we are hungry, we used to eat small things. But even there, the carvings on the caves and everywhere, single picture, it shows that they killed the animal, then they went and they put it on fire, they cooked it, they broke down that meat so it was chewable, and only then they ate it. Even since that time, when we were hunter gatherers, we were not eating chicken leg and all that raw. So human DNA has been there like this, and our 5 senses have always been working like this. And it will work like this today. It'll, as long as we are human beings, it will work 10,000 years in the future also. So then they started having this problem because they used to eat up everything in a place, and when no food was left, they did no farming, they would move. So every time new houses had to be built, new fences to protect from wild animals. So it became a very difficult way of living on the planet. So that's when they made cities. Okay, that is, we will stay in this place. And once the food got over, they had to devise the entire science of farming. And farming is not something simple. For when we were very basic human beings, so much of intelligence was required. These kind of seeds have to be put in the ground at this time of the year. Then rain will come, or we have to get the water. And who will get the water? Who will put it? Then after it grows, who will distribute it? In what way? To whom? How many people have done the labor? What are the other people doing? Then to fence this entire system from predators and all of that. So entire living system with laws and rules had to be invented, and so that's when farming began. Okay, but even when we were hunters and gatherers, we were not eating raw meat. I mean, some people will eat some small snails and all that now because the taste is little off and all, but when they're hungry, they do it. But if the other tasty foods are there, we always go for the fruits and all sorts. Now, this is an important, simple logistical question. If you stop eating food completely, what will happen? Yeah, of course, you will start losing weight, and then all your fats will get used up, or your glycogen will get lifted up, and then you're starving. And then within 2 3 months, your body will dry up, and maybe for some people, within a month, you will die of starvation. So, from where is your physical body being maintained? Who has grown it? And how is it there every day? How does it sustain? So we know it's coming from plants, from this model that we did. And then the question is, to follow that, from where do the plants get their food? You all know that earth, water, fire, air, space. Earth element, soil, water element, in the ground. Also, the humidity is there sometimes. Water, fire, the sun element, air, oxygen, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, and all the other gases. Exchange happens. And space. Yeah, trees and all need space. Even a sapling needs space. It needs to move a little bit and all. You have never seen a tree growing in the middle of a rock, unless there are small cracks and crevices and little water capillary action is happening, right? So the plants, what are they doing? They are taking the earth element from the earth. They are putting all these elements. They are sucking in all these elements, and then they are making their own plant body. So then the question comes is, from where do the 5 elements come? Earth, water, fire, air, space. So this I will cover more in in another section in the retreat that I'm doing in Goa from 10th to 16th November. It's a full 1 week retreat where I explain the higher dimensions of energy and consciousness and how all these things are created and at what level of frequency and vibration they exist. But today we'll just keep it to this, where we understand that it is from these five elements. Now, uh, mother's breast milk, that's the first food you got. It has got all the five elements: earth, water, fire, air, space. You can tell somebody, simply just tell me which is the element with the highest proportion in mother's breast milk.
Water.
Sorry?
Is
Water.
water the answer?
Yes. So, yeah, so water is the highest because it is flowing and all of that. You know, that is right, water. Then, how about earth element? People are wondering, is earth element, how is the earth element there in the milk? So, then from our observation, we see it's from that milk only that all our bones are being made. So, that hard, solid thing of calcium, magnesium, and all of that, earth element is there in the milk. That's how yeah, our earth element in the body is made. So bones and all. So earth, water, fire. Is the fire element there in milk and milk products? Yes. The more milk and milk products you eat, the more acidity that will be caused and fire element in your body will be generated. Earth, water, fire, air and space. Air is very less, space is very less. Um, but they are there at the molecular level. Now, suppose I take a groundnut, a raw groundnut, or what we call monkey nut, mungfali, which is the highest element in that
Earth.
earth element. Then you will keep it on a table and squeeze it hard with your thumb. Oil will come out. Then you know there is water element there. You eat too many groundnuts, you know you'll get acidity. There's fire element there. Air and space is less. So in certain things, in a, like watermelon, you will get water element, earth element, and you know in between spaces there is a little bit of air also and space. So like that, there is in our body also, the lungs has got space element. All movement happens internally at the molecular level because of little space. So, so these everything on us, even this chair that I'm sitting on, most prominent element is earth element. Then water, fire, air, space, all are less. So everything has got these five elements. So I said their creation, I'll do in another section. So this entire, you know, science of from where our bodies come, from where plants get their things, what is our food and not our food. It's the time since the first human beings on the planet, Adam and Eve or Manu and whatever, which it even predates the Vedas. And that is how we're accessing that knowledge right now. So the question here is now, did you create your cells or your DNA? Anybody's answer? Who created your cells or DNA? When we say DNA, you know that your parents came together and so you were born. But even your parents did not create their own DNA. They just came together in a natural process and you came out. And then to maintain this body, you have to eat all these plants, otherwise you are gone. From where does the soul come? Soul also comes, we know, from certain higher dimensions. Did you make your soul? No. Did your parents make your soul? No. Did they make their own souls? No. So, yeah. So now about creation, this is the nice point here. Now, somebody
Made
says
the
they made,
soul.
sorry.
Who made the soul?
Yeah. So we'll come to that. Okay. So now I'm just giving an example in between. Some people say they created a pink rose. So what they did, They took a red rose tree and they got a stem of a white rose and they grafted it on it, right? And they put the right binding together and all. And after some time, that shoot started growing. And from that new shoot, say, a pink rose came. And they said, see, we crossbreeded these two things, and I am the creator of the pink rose. But what is the fact of the matter if you examine and ask the right question? The thing is that you just brought the molecules of the red rose and touched them to the molecules of the white rose. And it was those molecules, it was that God material, that five elements created by the higher dimension, what we call nature or what we call creator, that is flowing in all things, that started communicating to each other. And then they decided, yes, we will mate or we will not mate. Many people are crossbreeding some cats and some dogs of different species. The newborn, it comes out, and then after 4 5 months, it dies because of genetic complications. So, what's all going here? It is the creator's energy. It is the one who has designed all of this, that force that is there. It is flowing in those five elements. It is flowing in the plants. It is flowing in all these cells also that are there. And it is this thing that is creating everything on the planet. So, yes, so you understand that I am not the creator of this DNA, human DNA, and I'm also not the creator of the soul. I just happen to be awake in a physical body and participating as a soul. And so there is a higher force that we can see in everything that has manifested this entire cosmos and all of that. So it requires more time to go from the fire elements to higher and higher dimensions. So I will not do that today. I'll do it in the retreat uh, because we have got many other topics we need to complete. But this much we can understand that there is active energy, what we call creator. I call it natural law. So creator is doing all of this through certain laws. That is why a puppy of a dog comes out as a puppy. It doesn't come out as a cat or a monkey. So there are laws to it. And I call that natural law. Why? I call it for this planet Earth. Now, what is nature on Earth? Nature on Earth means there are oceans, there is salt water, there is fresh water, there are plants, there is soil, there is so much of oxygen, certain gases, there is one sun, there is one moon, there are tides. So, this is the nature of Earth, and all the things happen and flow here as per natural law, which is how the way Creator is operating. But second question is Mars like this? Is the moon exactly like Earth? Is the sun like Earth? Is Venus like Earth? You all know the answer is no. And then you know the nature of moon is different. The nature of Mars, they are saying it doesn't have much water or no water and doesn't have plants. There are some algae, but that nature is different. So then at the higher level of all of these planets, galaxies and all, what operates across them is called universal law. So that universal law also is principles through which creator or what we call God operates and creates everything and maintains all of this thing in a certain order. And uh, that's why everything is not just disappearing or dissolving, all of that. So this is yeah. So I say that this is a natural law, which is the energy of creator, God flowing in all things. Now, why this is so important? That means we human beings, are not the creator of our DNA. We do not have the copyright to it. That means, as per universal law, we do not have the right to change our DNA. It is not owned by us, it is not made by us. So by universal law, we don't have any right to change it. But all of you know now, with the COVID vaccines that have come on the planet, there are some companies who are trying to change human DNA. So you must also understand that that is breaking natural law and universal law as well. Now, as we go later to this section after tea time, 4 p.m., where I will explain who are the people on this planet who have defined these things, which are the principal documents that they have used to say that this is universal law, below that is natural law, below natural law is common law, below common law is law of the land, below law of the land is law of the sea, maritime law, admiralty law. Before that, below that is systems of corporation. Below that is many other things, which I'll show you on slide. It is these group of people only across the globe who are making all the systems. And they are the same people who are breaking their own laws that they have defined. And it's against laws in universal codes, universal law codes. So that's why this is so important today about understanding, our DNA and what laws are being broken, so we can correct those laws and we can stop those people from doing illegal things or unlawful things. So here is one. I will just stop this slide. So I'll get the presentation again. I think somebody was, yeah, made some lines. So I'm going to read this out. They are the wordings of Jesus Christ. Now, as a Catholic, as I grew up, there were people telling me different stories about Jesus. Some were there, said that he was only, some books were saying that he was only in Jerusalem. Some were saying that before he got crucified, he came to India. Some were saying that after he survived the crucifixion, then he came to India. Some were saying he went to Egypt. Some were saying that he was a vegetarian. Some were saying he was a non-vegetarian. So then, how did I get to know which was the right Jesus? It was first by asking all and doing this experiment myself with all human beings to find out that we are all vegetarian actually as per our God designed senses and DNA. So now that is how I found the right Jesus. So what is he saying here? I will translate this for you. Okay, it's English, but what he's saying, thou shall not. Now this is from where? The spoken word of Jesus Christ from the Essene Gospel of Peace. Now, the Essene Gospel is our books that are written, and their source material is taken from certain texts like scrolls, the Dead Sea Scrolls. And those Dead Sea Scrolls are the same place from where material is taken in the Bible and put in the Gospels and all of that. So what is this? And we will see the level of whether it is truthful or not. So he's saying here, thou shalt not kill. For life is given to God by all, and that which God has given, let not man take away. For I tell you truly, from one mother proceeds all that lives upon the earth. What is the meaning of mother? Mother Earth. What is Mother Earth made of? 5 elements. What did we just experience? Plants are getting the 5 elements. We get the 5 elements from the plants. That makes our body. So is this a statement of fact in science? Yes. From one mother proceeds all that lives upon the earth. Therefore, he who kills his brother, because we all have one mother, and from him will the earthly mother turn away, and will pluck from him her quickening breast. What does this mean? The mother will take away her natural feed. Does the mother earth run away from us? Or are we the ones who say, no, we will not eat plant material. We will not eat the natural five elements. We will go and eat the animals and other things that are not as per our body design. So we are doing that. But literally, that means you reduce the plants and salads and you increase the meats. Now we know that we eat too much meats, we got acidity and all of that, right? So the next is, and he will be shunned by her angels, and Satan will have his dwelling in his body. Now, in the next slide, you can understand what the angels are. So I will just play that slide and come back to this. So this is in a chapter in my book, Become Healthy or Extinct, at the end. 2000 years ago, many sick people came to Jesus Christ saying, Master, heal us, that we too may be made strong and need abide no longer in our misery of sickness. We know that you have in you the power to heal all manner of disease. Free us from Satan. Satan means all forms of sicknesses within the human body. Free us from Satan and from all his great afflictions. Master, have compassion on us. But Jesus replied, Happy are you, happy are you that you hunger for the truth, for I will satisfy you with the bread of wisdom, that is right knowledge. Happy are you that you knock, for I will open to you the door of life. Happy are you who would cast off the power of Satan, for I will lead you into the kingdom of our mother's angels, where the power of Satan cannot enter. So then Jesus goes to explain to them that the mother's five angels, that is, earthly mother's five angels, are the five elements of earth, water, fire, air, space. Over a period of 6 days, he teaches all those sick people how to treat themselves with one angel per day. The first day was a day of fasting. And then when you read that text, uh, for one day he says earth element. So they have to go by next to a riverside, dig holes over there with the sand is clay, and they put their entire body in that sand with only their head on top. What we know that all of this is naturopathy. So they expose themselves to the earth element. Then the next day, naked, they go into the stream and they're standing in stream up to, a slowly flowing stream up to their neck level. So he exposes them to the five angels of the mother. And on the seventh day was the day of rest and recuperation. And by those 7 days, all the diseases left their body. When you read that section in that book, you will see how on which days the worms came out, in which days they vomited, on what days they had loose motions. So that all they, you know, healed. So from this, we can understand what he was talking about, the five, Mother Earth and the five elements, and how the same five elements that make our body, how he used the scientific process of using, putting abundance of that element in the body and, healing it. So now I'm coming back to this, and he will be shunned by her angels, and Satan will have his dwelling in his body. So by that process, he took out all of Satan and the sickness in the body. And he says here, and the flesh of slain beasts in his body will become his own tomb. That means die faster. For I tell you truly, he who kills, kills himself. And so whosoever eats the flesh of slain beasts eats of the body of death. For in his blood, every drop of their blood turns to poison. What is the meaning of this? It means you will eat more and more meat, you will get more and more acidity, and your blood will become deranged, the parameters, and that will cause your faster sickness and aging. That means your blood becomes poison for you. In his breath, they breath to stink. So because of what is there in your stomach and digestion, that kind of foul mouth odor smell comes. In his flesh, their flesh to boils. This is all the acne and pimples and warts that we get on our body. In his bones, their bones to chalk. What is this? Your bones are becoming powdery. So 2000 years back, the word arthritis was not invented. So he was explaining how our bones will become to chalk, meaning arthritis, osteoporosis, osteoarthritis. In his bowels, their bowels to decay. That means your digestive system gets bad. In his eyes, their eyes to scales. What is scales? He's talking about fish scales, a semi-transparent thing in your eyes. That is cataract. In his ears, the ears to waxy issue. That means a lot of earwax and secreting of that, ear infections and all of that. And their death will become his death. So this is how I found the real Jesus. And he was just 2000 years back. But he was speaking the science of what we have understood today, which is 6000 years old. So now, if any of you want more of these teachings, so Jesus was teaching a lot about food, nutrition, diet, healing of the human body and all of that also. If you want to read more about these things, you can go to my spiritual website, which is there here. You'll find this link also on my main website only, darryldesouza.com. It's there on that main page. So now the important question comes, right? All these belief systems that we have across the planet that are written, and we are reading books, so many books and texts we are reading. Can anybody tell me on this planet, when did printing on paper start? Which year, which century? Before that, it was only carved in rocks and all of that. And it was in certain leaves, it was on the bark of trees, it was on certain natural scrolls. So, can anybody tell me who were the families who invented the printing press and in which year did they do it?
Good. There is some word Gutenberg Bible, and that is connected with some printing process. If I
Right.
understand, here I don't know.
Yes. So, if you will Google up, yes, you're correct. 1450 Gutenberg printing press. Okay, that was the first printing press that was invented in the world. And these families were the main powerful families in the world. All the first time universities they have made, the first time marketing group, Reuters group they have made. During the time of COVID, when some of us who are well researched in natural sciences were explaining that this sickness is not coming from this virus, which is not properly isolated. Flus are happening for 6, 7, 8 different reasons. And we created our documents and we were publicizing them. Then these fact checkers from the Reuters group were coming and trying to taking down our post and saying this is false information. So it is since 1450, these families have created printing press, first marketing group. They have created universities and all of that, and they have been the ones who have, changed the text. They have come in between. They have written different things, and they have created a system which is called legal fiction. Under that system today, after 4 p.m., I'll go into that. That's why it's so important. In that system, it is created at a level of law of the sea. So at a very low level of law. What I said first on top is universal law, then is natural law, below that is common law, below that is law of land, below that is law of sea, and in the law of sea, maritime law, admiralty law, where human beings are declared dead at sea if they don't come back in 7 years and report that I'm alive. Then they are considered dead people, and then lot of I will explain some more details at that time. This whole system of fiction, that is what is not real, it was made legal. So legal is not lawful. I will explain later why. So they made a system where they could change the text and they could change the science and give us different things. Why they did that? We will also understand today. It's more for business, power, and those slides are there. Many of you who have watched my video, Making New Earth, which is the 4-hour video, have understood that. There are some lines about it here today. Okay. So now So what has happened in many of our texts, uh, there were this beings who they have written were our gods, and they are asking us to kill an animal and offer it to them on an altar as a burnt offering. So I read this in the Catholic text also during the time of Abraham, and so he wanted to kill one of his son, and then it is written that God appeared to him and said, and we are thinking this is the God that has created the entire cosmos. That is our belief. And but what is the God saying? It's saying that don't kill your son, go find a ram. Now, who has made that ram with so much love and care and grown it up for so many years? It is this entire creator and everything that's operating. So the cells of that God or creator that we call are there in the ram also. That DNA, that soul is put inside by that same entity that we call creator. But now the God is saying, you go find that ram, you kill that ram, and then you put it on an altar and you cook it and you give it to me. So there are many other things we know that such a God should have done. If something happened wrong with Abraham and his sons, then God should have given them a nice counseling session, right? How is it logical that go and get a ram or go and get something, do something else, and how will your karma get cleared by that? So we know all of this, at least nowadays. So much of us are going through, awakening and counseling. We know that. So from this, is it not clear that these gods are carnivorous beings who eat cooked meat? Because that is what they want to please themselves. Now, this is my question to everybody. Is it possible to have higher consciousness than your own God? Can you have a higher consciousness than your creator? Why? Because our five senses till date, everybody who have done this experiment with, shows us that we have compassion for other sentient beings like the ram or the goat and all that. That's why we don't kill them with our own hands and we don't eat them raw. So this is our level of compassion that we will not do these things to other sentient beings. Even if it's not mammalian, vertebrate, and all, we don't get some great pleasure from taking 10 earthworms and chopping them into 10 pieces. Do you get that pleasure? Nobody does, right? If you're scared that the earthworm will come in your house for fear of your own life or getting some infection, you may pick it up or throw it or stamp it. That's another thing. But naturally, we don't. We don't take pleasure in it and we don't cut up the earthworm and say, wow, it should be our food, right? So, so this is what. Now it seems that means, so this can't happen, right? That we have higher consciousness than our creator. So, but here is this, from that time of that Gutenberg printing press and these powerful families, they have made certain changes and they have replaced what is actually God, that is the God of all, that has created all. And so many of these religions are different texts made which are not true to the, close to the truth. And all of these have come from these printing presses. That's all that I want to say now. So there are more things that we can do, and every doubt that we have, we can use living sciences to ask the right questions and get the right answers. So those of you who are really deep into this subject, you want to understand what is karma, what is life, what is death, where we go, you can come to my retreat in Goa. It's on 10th and 10 to 16th of November in South Goa. I'll give you the details later in the group. So in this entire retreat for 1 week, I will not tell you anything of my own because people think they have the greatest wisdom, and this is a feature of human beings. It is fine at any point, even today. When you came to this class, you were already at that point where you thought you knew a lot, and it's good enough. And what more can Daryl teach me? Maybe there is something, but it'll be 1-2% improvement. After today and after that 1 week retreat, you will understand that you knew actually only 20% of the reality that we are living, and 80% is you will learn new things. Now, why I'm saying, it's fine for human beings that because we all try to do a good thing. We have very deep emotions. At any point of time, if a human being thinks that, oh, today I'm so stupid, I'm so uneducated, I am so not having knowledge, I'm so useless, the person in a 1 week's time, I think they'll go and commit suicide. So people have to have a positive thing about themselves, and they have to have this thing that, yes, I'm worthy of living. I know things. I am doing good efforts, and that actually keeps us alive and gives us a positive living, experience. So, um, yeah, that's so it's fine that people know. But I will give you these things, ask you these questions, and that's how you'll come to deeper understanding. So, so that's one safe method I have, worked out. So now on this topic, who has replaced the actual creator of everything on this planet by different versions of this creator who are saying in one text, go and kill those other people, go and burn their homes, slaughter all the first male of that. Then from another book, it is that we are the only chosen people, go and kill all the other people on the planet. So we know these are violent actions, and yeah, if we want any peace in the world and we want these wars to stop, we ourselves have to understand through our own questioning, which, like I said earlier, common answers will come. When you have the common answers that yes, the actual God and Creator is all one, and we are just coming out of that, that brings the first level of unity. So now this is there in this. There are in these books, and more you are seeing the videos of these what are called Anunnaki gods, the ones who came to this planet from other, you know, solar systems, and they made human beings as slaves to do mining and all of that. You will finally understand that these are nothing but people on this planet who have just felt that they have a higher authority to manage and control other people and keep them as slaves. So these are the same people who created the first two world wars and also the United Nations and this WHO, World Health Organization, and the World Economic Forum, and this creators of the One World Order. So a little bit of that I will share after lunch in terms of science and systems. But yeah, just a couple of more slides, and I think yeah, it's going to come right till 12 o'clock where we'll take the lunch break. Um, so some post now that veganism that is being on complete plants, they said it's a new world order. It is promoted by this George Soros, who is one of the people, powerful families of the One World Order. And in some of our group activists, I've seen only those who are not organic farmers and don't know the basic of growing food. They say that this new world order is saying that get rid of all the animals and all of that. And so it is the same plot as these people who are saying eat only vegetables and fruits and plants. They are saying it is to take away the rights of non-vegetarians. But what is the real problem? The real problem of this one world order people who are trying to reduce population and all is that when you try to grow animals and animal agriculture and meat, it requires 10 times more space. Now they don't want that more and more people to be independent across the earth, having their own water, having their own food that is not polluted and not toxified. So they are trying to get people off the land and into this. You have heard about that one line cities, the 15-minute cities being promoted by World Economic Forum, where they're trying to get people off the land, put them in small spaces, and poison them with vaccines and chemicals in their water, in their food, in the medical system, all of that. Now, the second point is that these activists have never grown food in their lives. They're not understanding, yeah, if you just get land and water to make palak and all that, it takes 1.5 months to make, so many 1.5 foot plants and small greens and all that. It takes you about 2 months. Like a brinjal tree, even I'm growing, it will give, 1 dozen brinjals within 2.5 months, right? So it is faster to create food from plants. But if you have to make a chicken, you know what the cycle is, right? You put the wheat and the rice in the soil at what time? Before the rains. Then the 3, 4 months of rains come. Then 1 month, 1.5 month, it will get to start becoming ripe, the rice. So then you got 4 months plus another 2 months, 6 months gone. Then the wheat will come. Then you will feed the chicken. Then the chicken will take 4 months to grow, right? 4 months plus 2, 6 plus 4, 9. So 9 to 10 months it takes to grow meat. This is the fact. So you have to understand that if you want in these current times when more and more of our food is getting poisoned and our cities are becoming toxic, and we want to move to existing villages or create our own new eco villages, then we know that we should be able, if we have land and water, we can grow food within 2, 3 months and have our own non-toxified food system. So this is the fact. And there are many slides like this one in our video Making New Earth, which I will show you. I will give you the link for those who have not watched it. That video is explaining for the last 1,000 years how all this destruction has happened on the planet. First 2 hours is about that. And then the next 2 hours is all the solutions, how we can solve all our current world problems. So here it says what you can see that 2 football fields feed 1 person per year, because then so much of space you require to grow the grass, to grow this, then they will feed the cows, then the cows, right? And the same 2 football fields feed 14 people. Here it's 1:14. So 14 times more land you will need if you are going to eat meat. So this is what these people are trying to do. But the basic we should understand, it's faster to grow food and the healthier food is from plant kingdom. So this is the last slide. Yeah, this whole experiment that I did with food and with milk, was it just a dialogue between me or you, or did I just facilitate an interaction between you and the part of God spirit living inside you? That God DNA, that God spirit, I just facilitated that interaction. So you can do this, which I will explain more, and we'll see in the next session after lunch. You can use this method to extract living wisdom from your God spirit and God made cells that has memories of millennia. That is from the first time we were this version of human beings. Yeah, Homo sapiens erectus. So this I already asked you earlier. Did we create a body and soul? We didn't, but we have it, and we have got the right of use. Who has given us the right of use? This universal law that operates, which it's a way of putting down in text the way God or Creator works. Across the cosmos is universal law. At the level of Earth, it's called natural law. And what I've put here is something similar what Jesus said. You saw what I've written here? Devil is anything that works against natural law and universal law. That is its opposite to working. So any human being, whether it's a man or a woman, whoever will manipulate and do the opposite or misrepresent natural law or universal law, that will cause harm to the harm to our body. It will cause harm to the plants. It will cause harm to the water. It will cause harm to the goat and the chicken. So that we should know is the work of wrong work, or we can simply say the work of the devil. So I've been doing this, what I call dialogue with God, since 2011 through my book Become Healthy or Extinct. It's got the same questions on health and food, and also on milk and milk products and many other things. So read that book. Many senior people like Air India also, they call me to Delhi to ask me whether I could use this book. They could print it in and share it in their 250 schools across India, because they say this is such simple, basic, fundamental knowledge that even if you ask a 8-year-old, 10-year-old child, they will give you the reply. And you've put it, and these are the sciences that should be taught in our schools. We are all having wrong science. That's why we are having so much health problems and destroying the entire environment. Okay. So this I will end this section here now, and it's 12 o'clock, so we can break for lunch. And if this recording also I will share with everybody. Presentation also I will share. So yes, anybody has any overall questions up to this point, what we discussed, regarding food, regarding what makes our body. So please unmute yourself and ask the question. I know some people there are 22 comments. I'm using a very small 12-inch screen laptop, which I go for travel and all that. So reading is all tiny print. Yeah, amazing session. Yes, thank you, Manjushri.
Hello. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Can we grow better than the inorganic farming is being taken place nowadays? Means organically, can we grow more crop than the inorganic? These all crops are taking
Yes.
place.
Yeah, so I will share in the group some pictures and my organic farming album. See, that's on Facebook. I have been doing this since 2015, so it's been close to 10 years. On quarter acre of land, I am growing 60 different types of fruits, vegetables, and one millet also, a little bit for my own testing and all that. So it is possible for all of us to do this. I was growing in Goa here outside my house and one ancestral plot, but there was mainly sandy soil. So I made soil over 2, 3 years. By the third year, that soil became very nutritious. So some friend was saying that they were offering one land in Goa for sale. They said over there, there's all laterite, red stones, and not much grows there. But in 2, 3 years, people have made deserts also into healthy soil. So there's a process to do it. And if I can do it, I think anybody can do it because that was not even my main work. So I will, those of you who are interested in, growing food organically, we have a organic, what we call vegan farming group in WhatsApp. It's already full, 1025 people are there. So over there, we are teaching people how to grow food in a very healthy, organic way without the need for animal agriculture. Now, basically, because I'm also traveling, I don't have time to keep even one chicken or manage a chicken and a goat and a cow. So this is for people to grow in smaller spaces. And I give the example that the hill across my house here, it's about now, if I go walking straight, it's 750 meters. Okay. And that hill, it's full now. Just whatever is required in the monsoons, it's full. It's a jungle. There are no foxes, there are no, no animals are there. There's no cow, no goat, no chicken, no anything. For many years, there were no birds there. Now some peacocks have come. I think some people have put the peacocks there because it's a trick. They don't want in the plains below the hill where we are doing farming, they don't want people to farm that and grow rice and wheat and all that. Because the builders, commercial builders, have already attempted to take that land and make houses on it. So I was shocked that because peacock is the national bird of this country, you cannot harm it, you cannot kill it. So I have been coming to this place like now I'm about 54 years old. So since my childhood, since I was 7, 8, I've come here. So literally from 50 years, earlier there were hardly any peacocks here. Suddenly peacocks have come, since last 20 years. So we know the exact time where they were deposited by some people, and it coincided with the time where builders were trying to take away our fields. So otherwise, what I'm saying is that there are no cows, goats, chickens, and all that, and any big animals in this and other hills, but they are propagating and growing so well. So how are they happening? Because of smaller things, birds, butterflies, bees, snails, rats, all of these things are pollinating and putting their manure and all that. So I have been following those farming practices, composting and all that to create nutritious soil. So when you go in that group of ours, we will share details with you and of how we can do this kind of, healthy farming. Because when I follow those practices, I'll just give an example. I took bhendi, okra seeds from my organic farmer friend here who stays close by. In his field, the bhendi plants were growing to 5.5 feet. Okay, not even 6 feet. So when I put that this in my soil for the first year, though the same bhendi seeds they grew till 12 feet tall. How come they grew 12 feet tall? And why the bhendi production was so much? Why did my bottle goods and all, why are they so long? Okay. And why are the ridge goods also so long, like 2 feet long? Others, you normally ridge goods, you will get 1.5 foot like that. Okay. This all happens because of the right kind of nutrients in the soil, where the trace elements also come in, not just NPK, but the others also. So we are still experimenting with this, that all those minerals in salt is seawater. How do we get them in the right proportion? How do we bring them on the land? How do we do right kind of composting to create minerally rich soils? So in the organic farming group, you will see that if you want things to grow in a natural way, like a jungle at any space, there will just be 1, 2, or 3 layers of plants. That means some creepers on the ground, then one thing that grows to 1, 2 foot, and then some creeper. But some of us do, like even I tried on some of my beds, I'm doing 5 levels of plants. That means one is a ground cover, which is a creeper. Then the next, what I call Ded Futia, which grows in 1.5 months, like palaks and so many other bhajis. That's I call Ded Futia. Then after that is the brinjal, which is about 2.5, 3 feet, or even 4 feet after about 9 months. Then there is one which is the climbers, which are going at the side, and one which are on top. Like Karela and all, the leaves don't completely block out the sunlight. They do 50% and all. So you get filtered sunlight for growing salads and all below. So all these systems are possible. But when you grow 5 layers, you have to put that much nutrients at that pace into the soil. So then when it becomes little meaning more and more composting, more and more minerals taken away. So that's a very aggressive way. So instead of that, like how nature does, you just have 1, 2 levels. Then it for a longer term, it will grow on its own without much maintenance. So you will learn all these techniques in our group. Okay, so yeah, I'll require also 15-20 minute break for lunch. So we will start again at 12:30. I'll keep this on only. You all can reconnect. I will just
One,
pause the.
one last question, if you allow.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes, sir, this is Harsh. So a very genuine question, and the two reasonings that you gave on meat eating, right? One is
Yes,
about violence, and the other is the repulsion that we experience if given an option to eat the raw meat, to kill an animal and eat the raw meat.
right.
They don't apply to eating unfertilized eggs. So I came across this thought after reading a book by Osho, right? He was a vegetarian. He promoted vegan diet, plant-based diet for all his meditators. But
Hmm.
then he experienced that a lot of his meditators, especially when he went to America, they were experiencing a lot of weaknesses. And
Yeah.
then he promoted this. He allowed eggs, but only unfertilized eggs that have not been fertilized. And he said that if you don't eat it, it will just rot like a tomato or any other vegetable. So
Hmm.
he gave it as a substitute to meat eating, so that all the benefits of meat can be, gained from egg. And he also agreed with what you are saying, that egg is much more beneficial than milk and milk products. So wanted to just one more thing. So I have been trying this on and off, like because of my spiritual readings and meditations, and a lot of masters who say that we should only be based on plant diet. I have tried to give up egg and only eat plant diet, but then I saw a lot of changes in my digestion, and in a negative way. And when I eat egg and only boiled egg, especially in the morning, I immediately start feeling a lot of increase in my energy levels and also overall efficiency and my digestion especially. So what could be the reason?
Yeah, so the reasons are what I mentioned earlier also in the presentation. What are your sources of food? Are you getting it from the normal markets? Or then you will have deficiencies in your food itself. So you'll have deficiencies in your body. The second question is, are you having organic? Now, even if you have organic, the question is, are your soils well mineralized? So salads and so many things will grow without much of a problem on demineralized soils also. What we need is well mineralized soils that have all the minerals within them, and then you see all the vegetables and fruits and plants and all they grow to a much bigger level than even this commercial. Uh, because in commercial the complete balance of soil is not there. They will put certain things to make certain plants bigger. But in this, if you're doing it correctly, organically, then you'll have big size, plus you'll have good color and great taste. So the whole science is based on that only. I don't know what method of farming they were doing in Osho's ashram over there, and whether it was having all these nutrients and whether people were eating at that ashram or they were eating somewhere else. Of course, everybody wouldn't be staying at the ashram. So that would be only to compensate for that. But as far as I have understood and used and
It
tried,
was a self-sustained ashram. They did the farming and the food growing
yeah.
inside the ashram.
So I'm very clear that if the farming is done by the actual natural farming practices that have got minerally, complete soils, then entire nutrition comes from the plant kingdom only. There is no need for even ghee or eggs or anything like that. If there is less in protein, then you can have, the protein sources. I'm just opening my website, Become Healthy or Extinct. In fact, I will just show that live screen now so all of you can understand also how to navigate to my website. And I'll show you all the sources of protein. So, for example, let me just get this up. Yeah. So, my main website is here, where DD Darryl D'Souza. So, darryldesouza.com, when you open it, then you scroll down here, you will see my intro, what I showed today. And here, Become Healthy or Extinct. If you click this banner, uh, it will open this website. Then look for the tab of nutrition over here. Nutrition here. Okay. So when you open the tab of nutrition, you will get all the protein-rich foods. If you want more calcium, if you want more protein, if you want more magnesium, go through all of this and you will see where you're getting more protein and all, even compared to eggs and meat. There is one slide of that. I will come to that here. Eggs have got 12% protein, but spinach, kale, and all, after taking out the water content from them, the plants also have more protein than eggs, chicken, meat, and all of that. So when we are growing, making our self-sufficient communities, we follow the principle of local, seasonal, organic, and all of that. But we have to grow the right kind of plants. One is vegetables, then is all the grains, beans, peas. Okay. So if we are doing a good balance of food in our farm and our space as per the local sciences, then we won't be deficient in any of our foods. So please go through this whenever you get time. There is for protein, then there is also for more iron and more hemoglobin.
Right. That
Yeah,
answers one part of the question. But do you
yeah.
see a
So
problem in eating
see,
unfertilized eggs?
1 second is that yeah, sea vegetables also will have a lot of those seawater minerals in them. Okay, so that this is for anemia and everything. So this page is long. It will give you many options. So I'm just yeah. So when from a evolutionary and spiritual perspective, I spoke at the World Parliaments on spirituality, the threefold path of ahimsa. So first was I'll share that video with you all later. It is non-violence to first human beings. That is whatever we eat, processed food, and all of those things we do. Basically, It's an unknown assault on this human being that God has made and given the DNA to survive and do many things. And in our, because we don't know, we are having all the toxic food products, body products. So we're actually, it's like attempting to kill ourselves and shorten our life. So that's violence. So non-violence to human beings, non-violence to, other species on the planet, and non-violence to Mother Earth and all of these elements. So with the negative, any negative in eating eggs is that the first point is that when we are designed and if we do the sciences right, we can live completely on plants, and that is ahimsa life. Now, now in this, people will say that plants also have consciousness. So that's my replies. Eat in line with your consciousness. If your consciousness is finding that you can hear the cries of the plants and you can hear their trauma, then you can stop eating plants. You eat only the offering of the plants, which is fruits. So by the time you get into that consciousness, your energy body, your chakra system and all will be able to even live on fruits only. Now, I've gone through this living on sunlight for 3 years. I mean, two-thirds of my food was sunlight from 2009 to 2009, 10, 11. So I tried all of that. Then I stopped doing that practice also because I got more busy in life and I couldn't give 1 hour in the morning just for that practice. So there are all these techniques. So those people whose consciousness has gone so high that they don't want to kill plants, you can live on plant fruits and you can live on sunlight, earthing, water, and all of that. And yeah, so then some people don't want to hurt the soil and all. So then they are breatharians. They don't, they just live on without water, without food also. So that is the real science. Okay, so right now, regarding eggs, so to get the eggs, what are we doing? We are getting the chickens in captivity and whatnot, and actually we don't need that food. So let the chickens, do their own thing, have their own freedom, and do what they want. And because the mother egg, even the mother, when she lays the egg, she just goes to, sit on it, fertilize. And when you take even an unfertilized egg, the mother is, running away a little bit and scared about it, not happy that you've taken away her potential child and all that. So for those people who don't want to do that, then they can, leave the eggs alone also and let it go into soil or whatever, and they can live on plants.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
this whole consciousness in my spiritual workshop and retreat, I go into a lot of detail where in the Kali Yuga time, our energy, our body, and our senses were a little more gross. So that's what allowed us to eat meats and all. Now in this Dwapara Yuga, we are understanding that the meats and all is little violence. So now we're eating plants. So after this 2,500 years, our consciousness will rise to the point that first we will say, we will not eat any root vegetables. Because root vegetables means when you take out the root, you kill the entire plant. So that's one thing. Then we'll say we'll keep the root, but let the plant grow. And after some time, we will eat some leaves and all of that. Then in the next time period, we'll say no, there cannot be any violence to the plant. We will only eat what the plant offers. So we will eat the fruits. And then after that, as our energy body changes and it goes more in energy form, then we are able to live on magnetism, sunlight, plain water, barefoot earth grounding and all. And we have more organic, natural villages and living spaces. Then that is somewhere in the end of Treta Yuga and beginning of Satyug, where we stop eating fruits also. So the human body is designed for this entire period. Uh, and it is just that some people who want to develop siddhas and all that, they will live on sun. I got taught this by Sun Yogi Uma Shankar was my teacher. And then on the breatharian lifestyle, that is not drinking food or anything, Eli Tom Elamin, he had come to Goa. He travels around the world. He lives only on energy. So, yeah, what I'm saying is people don't need to do those practices right now. It happens automatically. So, in every time period, we just have to honor our God given senses. We have to ask those questions, interact with nature, and whatever replies we get, we can live by that. So, currently, if all of us in the room now cannot actually hear the cries or the energy of the plants that are getting tortured, then for us, that is not, we can eat plants now because it's not violent to us. But there will be a time in our future when we will feel that. By that time, our food system also will change.